Welcome to 22-Man Game with Jared and Dame. I'm Jared. That's Damon. It is July 7th, 2026 at 6:27 p.m. coming at you on a wonderful Tuesday with our 30th episode. And if you're thinking, wow, I feel like they said a month that is the fourth month of the year last time, it's been a bit of a hiatus for us, bit of a sleepy off season, except for some blockbuster trades. Last recorded right before the draft, and the first overall pick for both of us was waiting a long time to record. How have you been in the interim, Damon?
Excellent, excellent. I've been okay. People that listen to Two Man Game have still heard my voice. They have not seen your beautiful face in oh so long, 2 months. And I want to put it out there. It's mostly my fault, like 90% my fault, I would say. Because Jared would text me and I'd be like, but like I'm watching the NBA playoffs. I want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about football. And then the playoffs ended for the NBA, and I was like, I'm so tired. I don't want to. But no, I'm back, and I committed, and I said, no, I need to do this. And here we are. It only took me 2 months. So blame me. Don't blame Jared. It's all my fault. How's Jared been?
Listen, I took on a second job in the last few months, so I've been busy. It's crazy to think, but if I'm not mistaken, I literally have not recorded the podcast in the entire time I've had that job.
That's true, I think.
Yeah, gotten very familiar with AI. I have feelings about it that I will hold to myself for now. Though, if you know me personally, you probably know that there's some ambivalence there in some of the things that I do. But disc golf's been great.
So much
Started Full Metal
discourse.
Alchemist, which is a Damon favorite. That's been great. I'm
True.
about halfway through that,
Full
and
Metal Alchemist of Brotherhood. Make sure you specify.
Brotherhood. Pardon me. I don't want that anime only ending slop from the original run. And just I just tried out the One Piece trading card game for the first time, and I'm feeling the call. So that's been fun. And if you want my Love Island analysis, we did set aside 45 minutes for Damon quietly listen while I give my thoughts on the part of the season that I've been watching. So it's gonna be a really electric episode. Um, Now I kid. This is mostly us playing catch up. Bit of a defensive back missed assignment, trying to prevent the TD situation. We got a lot
Mm.
of unethical ballers, a few ethical ballers, a few, I believe you put them as like ethical ballers question mark, which feels about right.
Controversial
Um,
ballers, I believe, is the label they received from
Controversial
me.
ballers, that feels about right. Gonna do a little bit of draft. Look back there. We had a game. We've been in suspense for over 2 months on gosh, who won that draft game. Well, we have an answer that's sure to excite
People
you.
have been vying. They've been wondering where it is.
They've had a hankering, that's for sure.
So much so that you
Um,
had to remind me to pull it up. So I was like, oh
exactly. Yeah. Listen,
yeah.
I've the results been locked in for me. We know the result. Um, and we might have some trivia sprinkled in as well. Some of it maybe sooner than later. It's going to be
It's gonna
a
be
nice
jump
little.
scare trivia. Neither of us know when the other is gonna spring the trivia on.
Yes, I designed a new kind of trivia format. We're going to see. We're going to see if it pops. We're going to
Hmm.
see if it's a must experience. But Damon, do you want to jump straight into the news? We can start at the top of the list.
Let's do it. The Bears Board of Directors voted to advance new stadium development in Hammond, Indiana. Your Hammond Bears, no longer Chicago Bears. They'll still be called the Chicago Bears, but they will not play in Chicago. Granted, Soldier Field, their current stadium, I have an affinity for just because I think it's the oldest in the league.
Mm.
But that also probably comes with a lot of wear and tear, a lot of outdated things, building structures, things you can't just fix over a short time. So they have instead said, let's put it in Indiana. And my understanding is that this one will have a lot more capacity, sell a lot more seats, something they could not do at current Soldier Field. I still am upset by it because it's not in Chicago and it's a Chicago team, and Chicago is a small city, but even if like small city in terms of, the actual land size of it. But it'll be weird. It'll be two teams in Indiana and no teams in Illinois. It's a strange thought. Do you have particularly strong feelings on this?
Yeah, I have a few. One of the jokes at Vanderbilt in the first couple months, obviously, whenever you meet someone in college, oh, where are you from? What's your major? Whatever. And so many people would say Chicago, and they really meant the greater Chicago area.
Hmm.
And the reason I bring that up is I don't want to make an assumption about the identity of Chicago in that way, but I do think there is such a greater Chicago area. I believe Evanston, to the northwest, is where Northwestern. That sounds right. Northwestern is, and that was a nice school. I just think that there's enough room in Illinois to at least put it somewhere in Illinois within driving distance of Chicago, so that people who come to watch the Bears who have an attachment to Chicago still experience the city. I understand that a lot of stadiums now are built with the kind of like surrounding community in mind and kind of wanting to build a complex more than just a stadium. I don't care. Play in the stadium whose name you have, and or in the city whose name you have. Get over it. Chicago's beautiful. I would say maybe number one on cities I've visited. I'd love to return to. And yeah, this sucks. If it's truly like we want to up the capacity and like it's very out of date, fine. But I imagine this isn't something where like Caleb Williams is going to the front office and saying we can't play here anymore. This is all big business. Not for me. Um, that's how I feel. Not
Yeah, I know.
pleased.
I know we talked about the Jaguars playing in Orlando next season as their stadium gets renovated. So I don't know, how bad the stadium is and could it just not be renovated and they play somewhere else temporarily, or if such a place exists. But yeah, and obviously I don't know the suburbs of Chicago and what they look like, and I don't know what Hammond, Indiana looks like. But I have to imagine that because Chicago's right on the water there, and I believe Indiana's west, so you'll have to go west. But if you were to go south of Chicago, still in state lines, I have to imagine there's somewhere that you could plop to the stadium in, like you said, the greater Chicago, Illinois area.
Yeah, I just think it's lame that there's no like Hammond doesn't connect to the Illinois or Chicago identity at all. But I don't want to belabor that because if I get too worked up on each of these bullet points, we will be here until my dentist appointment tomorrow at noon.
This
Um,
is what happens to us every time.
no, it is. Let's move on here then. Russell Wilson has retired from the NFL and agreed to a deal with CBS to be an analyst. Damon, one of the big things I've seen a lot of podcasters talk about with Russell Wilson is whether he's a Hall of Famer or not. A lot of people lean no. Do you think Russell Wilson has a Hall of Fame case right now?
That's interesting. That's a hard question. I think yes, because two Super Bowls, one Super Bowl victory. I don't remember who the Super Bowl MVP was. I have to imagine he was. That's when they like stomped the Broncos,
No,
43 to
I'll
8 or
look that up.
something like that.
That was a
But
crazy, yeah.
yeah. Also, while you look that up, Indiana is to the east, not the west. And it's also literally bordering Hammond, Indiana is bordering the water like Chicago. It's actually right next to Chicago. It is so close to Chicago
It's
that
to the
it's way
east. I had no idea.
yeah, it's way less bad than I thought. So I wanted to clarify that because I was like, where is this place? I looked it up. So like there's the lake, right? And Chicago's right here. Hammond is just like down the lake a little bit to the east.
Oh,
So it is
wow.
pretty close. It's just weird that it's a different state. Anyways.
Yeah, it's on the sticker at the very least it feels a little wrong. Um, I will say this: the Seahawks Super Bowl MVP was a defensive player.
Yeah, that
And
makes
if you
sense.
gave me five guesses, I don't know if I would get it. Do you want to try?
Five guesses, you don't think you would get it? Wow.
Nope. I don't know
I
if I
could
could have
name.
named this player if you gave me 11.
Yeah, that's hard. It's gonna be one of those names where you say it and I'm gonna be like, oh, but if you can't name it, that means in my head it's not Bobby Wagner, Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, or Richard Sherman, which would be the four that come to mind immediately, and then after that, we get into a little bit of a dark place.
If I tell you it's a linebacker, do you think you could get it?
I was trying to think who the linebackers around Bobby Wagner were, and nothing came to mind, so I don't think so.
It's a name that I'm like, oh yeah, I did hear that name, Malcolm Smith. Um,
No, never. There's actually never. It was never
yeah,
happening.
no, there's no chance, right? Um, yeah.
Okay, good to know.
So yeah. Anyway,
So no
so
Super Bowl
correction.
MVP, um,
Yeah,
but a victory and several, I would say, pretty successful seasons with the Seahawks. It's hard though because like Eli didn't get in this year, right?
I don't. No, I feel like he must have, right? No, he might not have.
It was a pretty stacked class this
He
go
did not.
around.
He did not make the
Yeah.
Hall of Fame. So
And
yeah.
like Eli is more of a Hall of Fame case to me than Russell Wilson with the double Super
Hmm.
Bowl. Um and they both kind of have the same thing. I guess Russell Wilson Seahawks probably have more regular season success than the Giants during their down years. And then his career is not as long, obviously. Um, so yeah, I guess not. I guess he's like right on the border, but I guess leaning no, because I would say he's the Hall of Very Good, as people would say.
Yeah. We talked
What
about
about you?
maybe adjudicating some of those terms, but yeah, I agree. I think for me, I think the Hall of Fame is the coolest when it serves as like a window into the history of the NFL during a period of time. And a
Hmm.
lot of people talk about those Seahawks teams as the defining teams of the 2010s. And I think I agree. I think their identity, I think they were a unique place in the NFL landscape to have sort of a mini dynasty. And I think there's too many players who I would put in before Russ from that team.
Yeah,
Like if you look at a guy like Philip Rivers, who had an iconic
I
career
was
but
also
never
thinking
really had,
about Philip Rivers. Yeah,
like, would I rather have Bobby Wagner, Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, and I don't know if Wagner will make it, but like those three and Rush, or would I rather have those three and Philip Rivers and have it be more representative of a period of time in the league? I would rather spread the wealth a little bit personally.
I think Bobby has a better chance of making it than Cam for what it's worth, and I love Cam Chancellor.
Yeah, I can't say that I had a great understanding from a football perspective which players contributed more, but that would be my take on Russell Wilson at MVP.
Yeah.
Let's get into some tougher news here, I think.
Tougher news. Yeah, this actually came out today. Former Cowboys defenseman Marshawn Kneeland, of course, passed away during last season, has been posthumously diagnosed with CTE, as people may have suspected. So, if I remember correctly, he took his own life,
Mhm.
um, and kind of had a little bit of a weird, not a weird thing, but like leading up to the events of his death, where like there was like a car thing during drive through the city, getting chased by the police, et cetera, et cetera. And I think people were like, maybe it was mental illness, maybe it was CTE, probably a combination of the two.
Yeah, I'm undereducated on CTE, but I do feel like a lot of the perception is like after your playing career, this starts to develop, and we see it in some players who are 30s, 40s, but it's typically I think something we associate with players who've been retired. Then you get Antonio Brown, who was younger and clearly is suffering, and now a player who is younger than we were when he passed. And I think unfortunately, knowing the way these conversations work, Marshawn Kneeland, I think if there are more players like him who get it younger and younger and experience this younger and younger, that will really, I think, force a conversation now where like these are players who are in the league, they're active, and this is encroaching on their health. But I was reading about this today. It seemed like the researchers were very grateful for the donation of his brain, and hopefully hopefully things like this can stop in the future. Because yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, and I was looking at something today, and I'm trying to do very quick research to make sure it's correct. But there is a guy, Dale Earnhardt, who's was a famous NASCAR driver, who was killed in an accident in 2001 from fracturing his skull, um,
Mm.
in a very bad crash. And they spent a lot of time developing better safety protocols to kind of make sure that didn't happen again. That was in 2001, and there has not been a single death in NASCAR since then because they spent so much time making sure, okay, let's make sure, the driving cage is safe. Let's make sure the headgear is safe. Let's make sure everything is like as safe as it can be because I think, people with football, it's like, oh, it's a contact sport. It's a violent sport. People hit each other. That's part of it. People crash all the time in NASCAR.
Mhm.
But now there are better safety measures in place that there were 25 years ago. And they've literally had no death since. So obviously, the difference here is this is something that takes place over time. I think is maybe
Mhm.
why people don't think about it as much because it's not instantaneous. It's repetitive hits. That's the whole thing that develops it. Um, but I know we have things like the Guardian Cap, so can't say the NFL's not trying, but what's the next step? And why are Guardian Caps optional? Um, sure, you don't look as cool, but would you like a brain injury that affects the rest of your life? Probably not. So I think there's more steps the NFL can take to hopefully prevent this going forward. And I think the NFL has to in order for it to trickle down to colleges and high school and everywhere they're playing football across the country.
Yeah, and again, I think we need to incentivize making the Guardian Cap cool, making the safety look cool. I think if you got some of the biggest players in the league and did a campaign where, they're all hyping up the Guardian Cap and other kind of optional protocols, like where's the ad where Joe Burrow is like sitting in the like grayed out locker room talking to the camera and saying like tell your coach if you think you're concussed, right? Because like how many players probably just like don't
Right.
report things, right? So it just seems like there's a lot of room there. And I I think that I don't know in terms of NASCAR, like how easy or how accessible those like big time safety improvements were. I know F1 has like sometimes battled similar things. But yeah, I think the NFL, even though obviously a death is going to be more visible than these like slow burning illnesses and conditions, I think the NFL could change its culture to be a little more forward about
For sure.
safety. Um, another player suffering a condition. This one, as far as we know, not necessarily related to his playing career, but former Titans and Jets running back and Cardinals running back Chris Johnson has been diagnosed with ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, degenerative nerve condition that can move very rapidly through a person's body and just kind of ravage their ability to live. And I imagine from being truly a prime peak, one of the best running backs in the NFL athlete to losing all your motor functions, really difficult. I didn't watch the interview. I did read, I think that he spoke using like a generated
Yeah.
version of his voice.
Yeah.
And I give a lot of credit to because it was I want to say it was Today was the show that brought him on. It was a morning one of the morning shows with Strahan.
Yeah. I
You
think
know,
that's Good Morning America, maybe.
Good Morning America. Thank you. You're right. I think it's very cool of them to put this story front and center, especially for a player who has been out of the zeitgeist for the last, you know, probably 10, 15 years. No one's really, not that Chris Johnson doesn't have a legacy every time the combine comes up. Obviously, he's a 2,000-yard rusher that will never be taken away from him. But
CJ2K. Got a
CJ2K,
whole name.
iconic nickname, um, such a player with an awesome legacy, but obviously not someone who's like constantly in the spotlight in the way that like a Deion Sanders is now. And so cool that they gave him a platform to talk about his experience and um, you know, wishing the best for his family. It seems like they really got his back.
Yeah, and shout out to him too because, like you said, it has to be incredibly difficult for someone, especially someone who so proliferal in their running ability in the NFL to now, not be able to even speak and normally having to use that whatever you I forgot how you phrased it, but you phrased it well, using something to talk for him. And going on to a show to talk about it and provide awareness about it. because I feel like that could be such an easy thing to, oh my God, I'm dealing with this horrible thing. Now is the time to kind of shell myself in, to make sure I can take care of it. But instead, he wanted to go out there and make awareness for other people. I know he mentioned trying to bring back the ice bucket challenge. That was big when I was in high school. I feel like that
Oh
was the last
yeah.
time people really kind of knew about this because people were making an awareness about it. Um, so yeah, um, if I thought about this ahead of time, I would have legitimately done it on this podcast. I don't know how I would have pulled that off though, because there's no room in my apartment to dump ice water on myself.
Oh,
But
that's a fun idea though. I actually honestly, and this is embarrassing to say, because I did it. I think I was early high school or maybe middle school. Um, I knew it was the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. I never connected it to ALS. Like
right,
it was just a
it's
different
fair.
corner of my brain.
It's fair.
But
We're young.
yeah, yeah. It might still be up on no one. I don't use my socials anymore, but I think I kept up the video of my brother just dumping ice on me. And it was like honestly, I think what's cool about that too is even just the challenge itself becomes a memory. Like the act of raising awareness becomes in its own way a source of joy. I don't know. I think that's cool. And yeah, a ton of respect for Chris Johnson to come out. Seems like he's really facing it with a lot of integrity. And as someone who grew up in Tennessee, obviously Chris Johnson,
Right.
local legend. So this is actually here's a horrible transition. Well, no, it's not. It's not. I've wanted to do trivia about running backs, and this
Mm.
is, I think, the place where we are giving a spotlight to a running back. So
Okay.
here, I'd like to transition us into some trivia. I'm
Yeah.
going to drop some trivia on you. So I've invented a new format. It's called field goal because there's three threes involved. All
Is
right.
it time for me to share my screen for the
It's
wheel?
time for you to share your screen. Here's how this is
Okay.
going to work, Damon. I'm going to give you a category. All right. You're going to use the division that you get from this wheel, is where you're going
Mm.
to try to fill out this category. Divisions have
Okay.
4 teams. You need to find
Yeah.
3 of the top 5 for a statistic for 3 of the 4 teams in a division, and you only have 3 wrong guesses. So,
Wow.
um,
Okay.
yeah, it's
Tough.
it's a rule of threes game here, and so the
Yeah.
category for this is team rushing leaders in the 2010s. And the stats I have for this, I put NFC North on there, but I'm not going to let you do NFC North because it's going to be too easy. Um,
Okay.
because
So
Lions fandom.
2010's like 2010 to 2020
So specifically, what
or
I have is
2019,
the
I guess.
team. Yeah. So I have the team rushing total. So I'll tell you how I'm doing this. Pro
Yeah.
Football Reference lists the total amount of yards a player had for a team, and it
Yeah.
lists the from and the to.
Yeah.
So any player who played in the 2010s, even if they got the majority of their yards before the 2010s, but they played in 2011, all of
Mm.
their yards count. But any yards they got for another team don't count. So it's their yards specifically with that team. Does that
Okay.
make
So we're
sense?
not we're not doing AF or NFC North, but if I got Adrian Peterson as an NFC North spin for the Vikings, and he started his career, I think, in 2007, um, but he didn't really, pick up until 2010 or so. All of his yards from 2007 to 2010 would also count.
Yes. I
Okay.
I could probably try to figure out how to sort this, but I
So it's not
was
only the
limited.
2010s. Got it.
No, it's not only the 2010s, but the player had to play for the team in the
Yeah.
2010s. So
Got it. Okay. Okay.
Um, the category, I
Got it.
suppose, better to say top rushers in the 2010s.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. And I have
so
to
yeah,
get,
I
I'm
not
sorry, I have to get the player with the most rushing yards in that time period for 3 teams in 3 divisions.
no. So good question. One division,
Yeah.
3 teams, 3 names, and you have 3 wrong guesses. So
Okay.
um, you
One
can give me
division.
three
Got
wrong
it.
names, and on the fourth one you're out. But
Got
you're
it.
going to spin the wheel. We'll get one division, 3 of the top 5 running running backs who
Oh,
played in the
okay. In the
2010s.
division. 3 in the division, not per team. Got it.
Sorry. Okay.
No, no, no. That was
One
my
division.
fault. There was a lot of
No, I wasn't clear.
explanation.
I wasn't clear because what you said, I wasn't clear. One division. Okay.
Yeah.
Each division has 4 teams.
Yep.
For 3 of those teams in that one division, you have to give top three rushers. So you should
Oh,
have
okay.
nine
Okay, okay, okay.
players when
Got
you're
it. Got
done.
it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
But
Got it. That's gonna be
let's say we
hard.
get NFC North
Yeah.
and you get three Lions and two Vikings and two Packers and two
Right.
Bears, you
Right.
still have to get those third, but it's not a wrong guess to go to all four teams. So you can like
Got it.
spread the wealth
Okay.
if you need to.
Okay. This will be hard. This will be really hard.
This will be tough, but I think it'll be kind of a fun like let's rack our brain, let's see what we can do.
I will say, because you can see my screen, right?
Yeah,
You see this BDGE bookmark?
yeah,
That's a football trivia website that I've been cranking every day, so hopefully that'll help me here.
yeah. For the record, I would not have gotten the Lions number one for this, just in
I was
case you were
gonna say
curious.
you said I'm not gonna let you do the North, and I was like, oh, not a lot's coming to mind for the Lions. But okay, I'm ready. Are you ready for the spin?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, and then I'll close this after the spin. We don't need to look at this. Okay, this sucks. NFC South is brutal.
NFC South is tough.
That's brutal.
Give me a second. Let me get some of the teams mounted up here.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got Carolina. Got This
Yeah,
is
stop
Carolina,
sharing so they can.
Tampa,
New Orleans.
New and the Falcons.
Yeah.
Actually, I think the Saints you'll probably be able to
This will be interesting. I'm racking my brain right now, while you get prepped. Oh my God. Okay.
yeah.
No,
So
okay.
I have to like kind of
I'm having
manually
some names.
search.
Having some names come in. I'm having some names trickle down in here, as I'm thinking. So, trying to think, what teams do I want to strike? I might have to leave the Bucks out of this. Nothing is coming to mind. Oh no. No, I got one. Man, getting
And I will say
three
for
is
the
going to be
record,
hard.
I don't think I could do this. I will just say for the record, I don't think I could do this. So if you get it,
This is good
props
though.
to you.
This is also a repeatable game. Repeatable
That
game,
was the
different
idea,
stats.
was
Yeah, this is
different
good.
stats, different divisions.
This is good. I
I
like
was more
this.
excited about the 3-3-3
I like
field
the
goal
3-3-3
concept.
triple threat.
Triple threat. Okay.
Whatever you want to call it.
Is there a team that you want to start with?
Not really. I guess I'll start with the Saints.
Okay, that helps me out. I can get the Saints up pretty fast.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um,
This is
yep.
interesting. Okay, okay. Saints. I keep one team keeps escaping my head. I think of all four, and then one of them just leaves, and I'm like, huh? It's really
All
the
right.
three that's going to be difficult. Okay, are you
Saints
ready?
are up.
Okay. So I'm going to start with Mark Ingram.
Start with Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram is number two all
Oh,
time and number
interesting.
two on this list.
Oh, interesting. Number two all time, number two on this list. Okay. Then I'll go to. I'm worried this is more thousands, but they might still apply here if they play because they just had to hit 2010s, right? Um, I'll go. I'll go Deuce McAllister.
Deuce McAllister is your first
Oh my
miss.
God, Deuce
He was
McAllister
the
isn't on here.
number three all-time rusher, played with the Saints from '01 to '08.
Ah, okay. 01 to oh 08. Interesting. Okay. I'll go with Alvin Kamara. That seems
Number one all-time, number one on this list. You are
okay.
two out of
So it's
three.
including his rushing yards from like 2017 all the way to now, basically.
Correct. Correct.
Okay,
The way
got
I'm
it.
doing
Okay.
this is I have their team rushing totals, and then I've searched for 20
Yeah.
teams, and it's just highlighting the players who are in the 20 teams,
I
basically.
see. I see. I see. I see. So now I just need a third player that is in the tens. Deuce didn't make it to the tens. But you said he was third all time, right? So I don't hate that guess. Um,
No, it was a good guess.
Interesting.
It just yeah, I was surprised you had the name even on hand.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who that third guy would be. It's been mostly Kamara. Before him, it was mostly Ingram. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody relatively
This is the
important.
there's no way this. Oh, okay, this is single season. I was like, there is no way the Bucks all-time rushing leader had 1,500 yards. That's crazy.
Um, okay, I'm thinking, I'm not guessing. I'm just gonna throw out some names that are coming to my head. Reggie Bush came to my head. Darren Sproles came to my head, as people that I know were on the Saints during this time period. Um, I think Latavius Murray was a Saint for like 1 second. I don't even know if it was in the 2010s though. I'm gonna move to a different team for now because I'm not confident in enough of those people to warrant a guess.
All right, I should be ready for you on all four teams now.
Okay, cool. Um, okay, I'm gonna do. This is so hard. Where do I start? I'm gonna do the Falcons, I think. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna start with Devontae Freeman.
Devonta Freeman is number 2 on this list, number 6 all time.
Yeah, that feels good. Oh, the Falcons had a lot of names. I'm gonna just throw out names that I'm thinking just for the listeners. Uh, they have Michael Turner. They have Warwick Dunn, who was on the Bucks as well, but that was earlier in his career. They have Tevin Coleman. They have the end of Todd Gurley. Um, Bijan, of course, doesn't get back there. Okay, interesting. None of these other names I'm like that confident ripping. I'm sure at least one of them's on there. Um, but I don't know. I'm gonna just knock down the names I know. I'm gonna go to the Panthers now. Um, because the Panthers probably have. Oh, this might apply to the Falcons too. No, I won't apply to the Falcons. This is not all running backs, I would imagine. I would imagine the Panthers have Cam Newton. So I'm gonna guess
I'm
Cam Newton.
quietly making a face.
I'm gonna guess
Cam
Cam Newton.
Newton is number 3 on this list and
Yeah.
all time for the Panthers.
And I will also guess Jonathan Stewart.
Jonathan Stewart is number 1 all time and number 1 on this list. You are 2
Yes,
for 3 on the Panthers.
sir. Okay, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'm trying to think.
You
Number
should.
th
I will say, in my opinion, I look at the
yeah.
Saints list, I look at the Panthers list and go, if I really thought about it, I could get that. I look at Tampa, I look at Atlanta, and I pray for you a little bit.
Okay, fair. Yeah, that's I have two of each for the Saints and Panthers. One Falcon. I'm trying to think the Panther, who would be the third Panther? I'm trying to think who their running back was. And Chuba eclipsed, and he might have started in the tens. Um, I'm also thinking about D'Angelo Williams had a really big season for them in '08, and then I don't know because he went to the Steelers after that. I don't know if he stayed with the Panthers to the tens or not. Um, so those are kind of the two names I'm in between, I think, for whatever for the Panthers. Um, oh, Christian McCaffrey, but he was only there for a couple of years. It has to be. I'm gonna guess Christian McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey, number 4 all time, number
God.
4 on this list.
Oh, that's brutal. That's brutal.
No, no, that's you just had to get 3 of the top 5.
Oh, I thought I had to get.
That would be
Uh,
ridiculous. All the
I thought it was
just the
the
3.
top
No, no, no.
three. Yeah.
No, you got it.
So,
You got it.
so can I go ahead and can I throw out my other guesses and just now that I have knocked the
Yeah,
Panthers
yeah, yeah,
out?
absolutely. Absolutely.
So where do D'Angelo Williams or Chuba eclipse this list?
So very interesting that you asked this. D'Angelo Williams, number 2 all time, number 2 on this list. He actually played there until 2014.
Okay, dang, he was there for a while.
Chuba Hubbard, number 5 all time rusher, started his career in 2021. So
Oh,
does
okay.
not qualify, but he is a top 5 rusher for them all time, which is crazy to think that the earliest one of their top 5 rushers played was '06 for them anyway.
Yeah. Who's the um who's the last guy that I haven't named?
There's a 0% chance anyone on earth, I mean, unless you're a true Panther head, it's Mike Tolbert.
Mike Tolbert. Yeah. Okay.
Mike
I
Tolbert, he
I,
is
I
a
wouldn't have
name.
guessed him, but okay. Got it, got it,
Yeah,
got it.
it's
I feel good
it's
about this.
interesting for a new franchise. It's really interesting to
Mm.
see like there are 12 guys with 1,000 yards, and then Mike Tolbert has less than 1,000, and he is the 13th all-time rusher for this team. So,
Right.
um,
Okay, cool.
it
So it
is
was it was
interesting.
Stewart, Cam, McCaffrey got me there, and D'Angelo would have also got me there. Okay. Glad I didn't rip Chuba. That would have been sad. Um, okay, Panthers done. Let me go back to the Saints, I guess. I've already named Kamara and Ingram. Um, oh God, I'm gonna throw up. Uh, all. Oh man, this is really hard. Who is even on these teams? I probably said the name and I already forgot. I'll rip Reggie Bush just because I love Reggie Bush for the love of the game.
Reggie Bush only played with the Saints in 2010, but he is number 5 on this
Oh,
list.
that's crazy.
He's number 5 on this list. I will say the other two are gettable if you're on your game.
Yeah,
They're not the easiest in the world, but they're fun.
I'm trying to think. I said Darren Sproles. I imagine it's not Darren Sproles. He's not really a rusher.
Darren Sproles was number 28 in their all-time rushing, and I believe number 8 in this exercise.
Yeah, I don't know why he's even in my brain. You said I could probably get the other ones. Like who?
Both players whose names I
Oh,
recognize for sure.
was one of them Taysom Hill?
One of them is Taysom Hill. He's number
Yeah,
4.
he's old. I forget how old he is.
He's been playing there for I guess 9 years, 2017 to 25.
Yeah,
I don't think they re-signed him, but I can't remember. And then one more is like a bit of a ball knower name, but one I recognize.
ball knower name, but you recognize. You'll have to give it to me. I don't think I knew it.
Do you remember Pierre Thomas?
Oh, barely. I was never getting Pierre
Yeah, I
Thomas.
know. It's like a right on the edge of your brain name. He was number 6 all time for them. And then yeah, he was number 3 on this list. So
Okay.
have you committed to any Falcons or Bucks yet that I'm forgetting?
The Falcon, I committed Devontae Freeman. I haven't even touched the
That's right.
Bucks yet.
Yep.
I mean,
10 foot ball.
the
Yeah, you got it. Yep.
um, how am I doing? Am I doing better than you anticipated so far?
Yeah,
Ripping
I
out
would
some
say
names.
so.
You're like, huh?
Well, you took the early flip
Yeah,
on New Orleans, but even that was like a good pull. And
yeah,
Carolina, you know, I think you ended up having some nice momentum. But I do think this is where rubber hits the road a little bit
yeah. This is going to be
on
hard.
these names.
Um,
Yep.
I'm trying to think. What have the Falcons been doing since in the 2010s?
Yeah.
So I ripped Freeman. I'm gonna rip Michael Turner.
Michael Turner is number 2 all time and number 1 on this list. And he only played from 2018 to or two wow 2008 to 2012 and had amassed over 6,000 yards, which is
Yeah, he was a baller.
wild. All you got to do is get one more Falcon.
It's a ball knower name right there.
That is a well-known name. That was impressive. I don't think I knew Michael Turner. So
I had a family friend grow up in Georgia, and I went. I think I've told the story. I went to a Falcons Saints game, and when I was like
mhm.
10, he might have been. He was probably their running back when I went to this game. Um,
Sorry, I'm looking at the.
yep.
Sorry, there's like an ad playing in the bottom corner of the screen, and I was like, "Is this?" It looked like Madden. It was real, but I was like, "Wow, maybe too much AI for me."
Oh
Um.
no, he's AI
Oh
brained.
no, cloth
The
build.
names I'm still between on the Falcons. I'm still between late career Todd Gurley. He wasn't there very long. I'm struggling to remember who was even after him. And then Tevin Coleman as well. This would have been Matt Ryan. Not really a Russian quarterback, obviously. I'm gonna say Tevin Coleman. I'm gonna rip Tevin Coleman.
I'm shocked Tevin Coleman even came to mind, but he is the number 3 on this list. You got the top 3 for the Falcons. That's
I'm
really
a
impressive.
ball knower.
Um, yeah, you are. Now at this point, I feel like you've got 2 misses. You might as well go for all 4, right? Um,
I only have one
and
miss, don't
try
I?
maybe.
Isn't it just Deuce? Isn't that the only miss?
Yes,
Oh, two misses left. You mean
die real quick so that I can immediately
epic
switch audio sources. But I meant to say you 2 more misses to give, and then that
left?
third
Yeah, yeah,
miss.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would like
Oh,
to
I
know who
can't
the
even
other
hear you
Falcons
anymore.
are.
This is great.
Oh, that's
Uh,
good. That's good. I'll just talk to myself and the fans. Hi, fans. Hi, Addie.
I got
How
you.
are you
I
doing
got you.
today?
I was telling Damon like as soon as I was like getting ready to start, it was like, oh, your power's low. I was like, ah, sweet.
That's
Um,
awesome.
so far. Okay.
I see what you're
With all
saying.
that, yep.
Yeah. Um, I kind of just want to know who the other ones are, but if I can't safely do that, I'll try to transition away, I think, to the Bucks probably.
I would say that you have a less than 5% chance of getting both of these without burning your
Yeah.
unless you are truly the ball knower of all time.
Yeah.
I'll tell you them, but you should go to the Bucks and see if you can do a we'll call it an extra point. It's kicking theme
I
still.
got the oh yeah, I forgot I only had to do three and I did three.
Yep.
Um
But I mean, why
I
not
have
go for
passed
four?
the
We're right
game.
here.
Yeah, yeah, I do want to try because the Bucks sounds like the hardest. In my head, I'm like, who even played for this team?
Yeah, this
Um,
is hard. This is
oh, okay. I got an immediate rip, actually.
yep.
Yeah, this should be free. Doug Martin.
Doug Martin, number four all time, number one on this list.
Yeah,
Um, well done. Yep.
yeah. He passed away while we were recording this, not this pod, but during the history of our podcast.
Yep. Yep.
Um, I'll go. You know who I'll go? I'll rip Ronald Jones the second.
Number three on this list, number 11 all time,
Yep, yep.
2018 to 21. So
I'm
bring it home.
him.
Bring it home.
Um, okay, one more Buccaneers rusher. Interesting. This is where it gets hard. 'Cause that's kind of the era I know. Obviously, Rashad White wasn't there yet. Um, Playoff Lenny. He was only there for a little bit. Um, you know what? Let's do this because he was there for so long. Let's rip Jameis Winston.
Oh, I like the mindset. He would actually be number seven on this list, number 20
Mm,
all time.
just outside. Okay. So I got one more wrong. I guess I can make one more wrong guess, right? Um, hmm. Who was playing for the Buccaneers ever in the history of their team? I can't even think about who their quarterback was. Um, wow. This team has not in the tens at least, because I think of Warwick done in the thousands and Mike Allstott, fullback for them, in like the 90s, who was really good. Um, I mean, I'll throw Lenny out there. I'll throw Leonard Fournette out there. It's the only name I have. So,
Leonard Fournette played from 2020 to 2022 with the Bucks. Also would not
ah,
have made this list even if he had played in the teens.
okay, okay.
Not to double dunk on you, but
No, no, no. I was, yeah, the 2020 Super
to
Bowl.
give you
That makes
credit
sense.
because it sounds like you know they didn't play in this era. Mike Allstott and Warwick Dunn, number two and three all time on this
Let's
list.
go. Let's go. Um, ball knower. Number three, Mike Allstott's a fullback, so that's crazy that he's number three all time on
He's
this
number
list.
two. Allstott's
Oh, number two,
number
he's number
two
two.
all time. It's crazy. He played 158 games with them, which helps. But
Have I not named the
um,
number one guy all time? He wasn't in this era either, huh?
he was not, and you have
Okay.
not named him, and I have never heard of him.
It's not like James Wilder, is it?
It is James Wilder. That's crazy. That's wild. Yep, you got it.
1984
James
legend
Wilder,
right there.
Allstott, Warwick Dunn, Doug Martin, blank, and
Blank.
then some other names. So the fifth all time is played on defense.
Oh, is it a name I know? It's gonna hurt
Yep,
me. It's gonna
it's
hurt
a
my
great name.
soul.
It's a great name.
It's a great name. It's a
He
great
only
name,
played
he says.
only 1 year in the teens with this team, but it's a great name.
1 year in the teens?
Yeah, he 05 to 2010.
Oh, oh, interesting. Oh, this is a bad era for me. Oh, 05 to 2010. Oh, this sucks. Um,
There's also two other options, of course, but
yeah, no, I think I'm trying to picture who you're alluding to, like almost like the Warren Sapp books, but I can't picture it. I give up. I concede. I lose. I don't know who it is.
well, you win. I mean, you win. This was extra point. So you got three. That was wonderful. Name I was looking for. I didn't know he was a Buck, but it's a great name. Cadillac Williams.
Mm,
Um,
Yeah, wouldn't have
Cadillac
got it.
Williams. The other two were Ernest Graham, okay, and Peyton Barber,
Uh,
number 5.
I could have got to Peyton Barber, maybe, but the
Yeah,
other two, no shot.
yeah. The
Okay.
sixth was LeGarrette Blunt. News to me that he was even
Didn't know he was a buck. Not a clue.
now the other two Falcons are like, holy smokes.
They're both insane guesses. Okay.
Unless you were thinking Jarius Norwood,
No, I don't even know who that is.
no, and Jason Snelling.
Yeah, I don't know who either of those people are. So, okay. I'm
You were
glad.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you didn't go with Gurley because you were really circling Gurley. He actually only played 15 games with the team,
Yeah.
and it was in 2020, so he
Oh, I
was
see.
firmly off the radar.
That was
Um,
last year, I think. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that was very impressive though. One
Woo!
more one more cherry on top question. You could just answer it real quick. Which of these teams do you think has the lowest all-time rushing yards leader?
So, like, the number one person on their list has the least
Has
amount out
the
of the number
least
ones.
amount of yards compared to the other teams? Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Let's see. I know one of them is James Wilder. Um,
Yeah.
I know that.
I'll give
I
you
don't
all the
remember.
names if you want. I'll give you all the
Yeah,
names if you want.
yeah. What are the names? What are the names? Remind
So
me, please.
Kamara, you already had. Kamara's number one
Kamara.
for the Saints. Jonathan Stewart, number one for the Panthers. James
Look,
Wilder, and then
yeah.
Gerald Riggs for the Falcons.
Gerald Riggs. I don't even know who that is. But he was above some guys I do know. This is hard. This. I'm gonna say Kamara. That guy catches a lot of passes.
Kamara, if I'm not mistaken,
Has the most.
is no, he does not. He's second most,
Okay.
behind another player, which I was about to say, but I'll just tell you because I don't want to waste too much more time. I know I've already
Yeah.
taken up a lot of time with trivia.
No,
Jonathan
this is fun.
Stewart, number one.
Yeah.
Kamara, number two. Gerald Riggs, number three. And James Wilder,
Yeah.
number four. And crazy enough, there are, wow, four Falcons who would top his total. There are two Panthers and there are three Saints. So
Yeah. That makes sense because you said that Ronald Jones was up, or like not Ronald Jones, somebody else was up there with like no yards for the Bucks. So that makes sense.
yeah, no, it was. I mean, the fact that Allstott is number two all time probably
Yeah.
says a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah,
know
it's
James Wilder for having one insane fantasy year. That's why I know the name.
which is crazy because he was in the '80s. I feel like fantasy wasn't what it is now in the '80s, but I
For
wasn't
sure.
there, so I guess I wouldn't know. Well, thank
That
you,
was
Damon, for
fun.
participating.
Thank you.
Um, that
I'm
was fun.
shocked I passed.
That was crazy. That was really well done. I had a few divisions in my head that I was like, that would be tough. And no, you owned that. Do you want to move on to our ballers of various ethical nature?
Yes, and we'll start with the most ethical of ballers, just like Jared, who provided that great game. Although this first one, I wrote tugs at collar because the person is maybe not always the most ethical person, but Mark
Yeah.
Cuban did an ethical thing by investing in women's flag football to prepare the U.S. to have an Olympic team in 2028 when they play here in LA. So, pretty cool of him to put money into it and make the team happen. I think that'll be kind of an exciting new Olympic event.
CMAB's owner, this is how you give back to LA. You don't have to screw your team over.
That's really good. That's a really good.
Thank you.
Uh,
Um,
yeah, I like that.
yeah, no, this is really neat. Mark Cuban's daughter goes to Vanderbilt, so got to respect a Vanderbilt dad, and
Mm,
probably not the best guy, but always a fun TV personality. This is really cool. I think
that's the bumper
um,
sticker he has. Gotta respect a Vanderbilt dad.
I hope. I feel like of the major American sports, football is the one that has the weakest counterpart for, like the NBA has a WNBA that's probably the most prominent women's sporting league. Nationally, I feel like women's golf, women's tennis, I'll hear about sometimes.
Yeah.
Softball is obviously pretty
That
big,
makes
but
sense because golf and tennis are individual, so it's just the
it's a little different. But
yeah,
I feel like football is far and away the sport where there's the least visibility among the
for
major U.S.
sure.
sports for women. So,
Yeah,
yeah, let's
absolutely.
invest in it. Let's make it part of the identity. It's very cool. All right, I'll take this next one. I'll tug at my collar for this as well. This is coming from someone who listens to the 5 to 4 podcast, which is all about how the Supreme Court sucks. Uh,
Hmm.
the Supreme Court, in a rare W, refused to intervene in the discrimination lawsuit against the NFL, led by Brian Flores, allowing the case to proceed to trial. Sweet. Um,
They
I
said we
think
actually won't be
Flores.
horribly corrupt. Awesome.
um, yeah, there's the like there's a lottery machine and there's like 1,000 balls in it, and 999 say don't make the ethical choice, and then there's one ethical ball, and it just so happens that that's what they spun on. So I'm sure there's some legal reasoning about the NFL's ability to enforce or be protected from regulations or something that really is why they did this and not for the reasons that we might value them doing this. But glad it's done.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And hopefully we can get some sort of update there. Must be weird coaching in a league that you're also suing, but go Brian Flores.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, Now this one is no collar tugging necessary. New Titans wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson will be wearing number 4 this upcoming season to honor his late friend Rondale Moore, who passed away. We talked about that a couple pods ago. They were apparently very close, so he will be wearing his number because he was number 4 on the Cardinals. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I love this. This is something I think that players do sometimes when they lose. Sometimes in the high school or college game, they'll go to the pros. They'll wear their teammate or friend's number. I think it's great.
Yeah.
And respect to Wanda Robinson for doing that, and hopefully he balls out because I think the attention on this story would be really cool. And I feel like Wandale Robinson, sneaky cool guy. Like I don't know that much about him,
Yeah.
but I feel like I've never heard anything negative about him. I don't know. Seems kind of like
In the
he's a good
NFL, that
guy.
means a lot because because we got a lot of negativity going
We have, I
on.
mean, I think you rounded up probably a dozen unethical callers.
Yeah,
So,
we're gonna get there. Yep. All
well,
right.
hey, I see your transition, even though it's not labeled. Speaking of Giants from 2025,
Nice.
Giants quarterback of today, Jackson Dart, introduced Donald Trump at an event in New York. And then Edge Abdul Carter tweeted that he thought it was AI, and he questioned why Dart would do it. And then he tweeted later that the two had a conversation about it. For all the heat, Abdul Carter, I think, kind of picked up for his attitude year one, respect for calling him out, respect for sharing that you had a respectful dialogue. I think this is cool. And I will say I stand on the side of Abdul Carter with this one.
Yeah, I mean, I could have told you just based on watching Jackson Dart and Cam Scattaboo interact at all
Yep.
that that this was probably the mindset. Ole Miss, probably probably some of the mindset. So when this happened, it was not a shock, but obviously, I think when you're an NFL player, especially in New York, largest market in the world, just in terms of markets, that people are going to pay attention when you do stuff like this. I don't know if you knew that because Jackson Dart's really young in the league, and then Abdul Carter, maybe the conversation happens without the tweeting. Would maybe be my only critique. Like you just talk to him, like, "Hey, what is this? Why did you do that?" But he did tweet, and then people were like freaking out, like, "Oh my God, there's gonna be a whole thing." And then his tweet, I think his first tweet literally was, "What we doing?" And then his second tweet was like, uh, all you people like clowning the tweet. We talked about it like grown men." Which yeah, there's probably I know he's younger than us, but there's probably more mature ways to say both of those things. And it probably could have been private, but yeah. I think controversial is certainly the word for it. Um It's interesting. I've seen some people say like if you're a quarterback of an NFL team and let's say they approached you and
Hmm.
said, "Would you like to introduce the president?" I feel like that is a place that is maybe a little difficult. Like I'm the quarterback of the Giants and I'm offered this opportunity and I say no, I'm not going to introduce the president. What sort of kind of unintended backlash it may have on me or the team is unsure. I don't know if Jackson Dart thought of that, but I could see that argument from people that support Jackson Dart's stance, especially since he's so young. So,
I haven't thought about it that way. I actually don't disagree. I think, in maybe another regime, if he rejected it, no one would, that his team wouldn't come out about it. But if Dart says no to this offer, there's a tweet about it. Now it's news, right? Um, and I also, this is like, you know, this is sort of my edgy side take of this.
yeah,
No matter what you feel about the president of the United States, if the president of the United States gives you any sort of direct offer that doesn't directly harm other people, and you said, "Hey, I took it because the president of the United States, there's one of them every 4 years, and it's an incredibly exclusive historical moment," and you try to make comments that are deliberately neutral and you don't like go actively pumping them up, I I would have a little bit more honestly of an understanding of that to just say like this is a literally once in a lifetime opportunity. This may never happen again. I'm not saying I would do it per se, but like the idea that like of course I would say no to this. Yeah, I think most people who are of a certain set of beliefs would, but I also can appreciate that like yeah, that would be one of the more significant moments of your life outside of football probably. I don't know, maybe you disagree with me on that, but
no, yeah, that's what I mean. Like I can see the argument from that standpoint, and I don't really know the context of how it was brought up. Was this brought from the White House to the Giants, or like how the order of operations unfolded here? Because I think that does matter. Um, I don't think Jackson Dart signed up on a list like, oh, introduce the president. Let me put my name on there.
yeah,
I think he was probably asked to do it, and I think that changes the context of it because it's
that is true. That is true.
yeah. So it's a weird place to be in.
Yeah, I think if it were um oh boy, if this were like George W. Bush or H.W. Bush, like, we would maybe think about this differently also from a political perspective. So,
Yeah, probably not
all
a
that to
story.
say,
If it's
uh,
Obama and you say no, then it's a problem.
that is tough. That is absolutely
So-
tough. Um, yeah, I I don't I'm on Team Carter with this one.
yeah,
But I honestly, yes, Carter doesn't need to come out and say, "Oh, we talked about it like men" or whatever. But honestly, being public about the fact that you resolved it in a very neutral way, I think can set a decent example in a place where a bad example or a worse example would have been possible. So,
yeah.
um, limited respect where due in that regard. You want to take this? Oh boy,
I will take this next one.
ugh,
It's,
yeah,
uh, controversial. Current free agent, wide receiver Stephon Diggs was found not guilty of strangulation and assault and battery charges that were filed by his former live-in quote chef unquote. Um, so I watched this unfold, and I think we talked about it when it happened, and we were like, Stephon Diggs, what are you doing? And we were very accusatory, because a lot of times NFL players are often doing bad things, and Stephon Diggs has had other questionable choices during his NFL career. But after doing a lot of research into this, it turns out I think I'm going to try to sum the situation up in best I can. Stephon Diggs had a woman living with him to be romantically involved with. And then he was paying her, and then she got the title of chef, but she wasn't really cooking anything. Because they talked about that in court. Because I watched some of the court case, and it was like, look at this really burnt hot dog that you made for him, and it was like stuff like that, and it was like, you're not really a chef, are you? Um, so I think what happened here is lovers quarrel gone bad. Uh, I will now try to get money out of you, famous person, for it,
Mm,
basically.
I see.
So I think both parties are kind of in the wrong, though. You probably
Yeah.
shouldn't pay someone to live with you and sleep with them.
Wasn't he with Cardi B during all of this? Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know the timeline of the Cardi B on and off because I don't think they have been consistent throughout their relationship.
That's that's true.
So controversial, not guilty of this, but probably of some weird moral thing, I would imagine.
it if you're in this situation, it probably doesn't reflect well on you broadly that you're in this type of situation. Like, I get it. Maybe she took advantage of Stefan. Like, that could be the case, but I don't know, man. Controversial ballers is the right place for this. I don't think we're trumpeting his triumphant liberation from this case.
Yeah,
Uh, all right. Let's move on to some unethical ballers. I'm gonna batch a couple of these together if that's
I was
okay,
gonna
just because I
say,
don't want
yeah,
to
some of these we
necessarily.
just gotta run through.
Yep.
And
So
these
I'll
people are
start with
all
these.
bad.
These
That's
people are all, yeah,
well,
varying degrees of
not
moral.
all of them are people, I guess. But anyways.
Yes, these people and or entities are bad.
Mm.
Um, so Rams left tackle Alaric Jackson and Broncos left back linebacker Jonathan Cooper. So that's Rams left tackle Alaric Jackson, Broncos linebacker Jonathan Cooper, both arrested for felony domestic violence charges. I believe Cooper then maybe had a subsequent secondary charge, or maybe the domestic violence charge came following a prior charge. Um, but I remember his case having some additional complication, I believe.
Bad. Don't do that. Don't be a domestic
Yep.
abuser. You play a sport. You play a sport where you hit people. That's all I'm gonna say. Why you gotta go
Yeah.
hit people at home? You're already doing it on the field. You gotta go to therapy.
I think anyone
Tough.
on the unethical ballers list could use that. Yeah.
Ugh. Other unethical ballers. Packers running back Josh Jacobs was arrested for damage to property, disorderly conduct, battery, domestic abuse, strangulation, suffocation, and intimidation. A whole string of charges there. More to come on that. I imagine relatively prolific rusher in the NFL currently. Um, and a lot of charges here. So I don't think we've seen any updates, court cases, things like that. I don't know what his deal is for training camp. I don't know any of that, but I want to say there was somebody, and I think it was him. Maybe it was multiple people that turned themselves in. I think he was one of them, but I don't
Hmm.
remember.
Yeah, I think it's I feel like you don't normally see a case with this many distinct charges that, like, and again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know the difference, but I look at felony domestic violence and I look at this set of behaviors that is probably adjacent to domestic violence. I
Yeah,
don't know. Definitely we'll keep an eye out for how that case evolves. Falcons Edge, James Pierce Jr. agreed to enter an intervention program, which allows him to avoid trial on felony charges of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, fleeing police, and resisting arrest, along with misdemeanor stalking. I don't know how intervention is enough to sidestep such a string of crimes. I remember this feeling very high profile and intense when it happened.
and it
Um,
was.
yeah, I mean, like this was like a moment where you'll see crimes be committed, and it's unfortunate to feel this way, but I look at like the Rams left tackle Eric Jackson, I look at Jonathan Cooper, and I say, okay, these felony domestic violence charges might mean that we don't see them for the first 6 games of the season. What happened with James Pierce Jr. felt like his career was in jeopardy, and now he's not even going to trial for it. um so I was
Yeah,
surprised to see
especially when
that.
you think about like the character concerns that were mentioned in college. One of the things when the Falcons traded up last year for him that you mentioned, like this is a really big risk because this guy, like, we're not sure. Um, and this is why, because he had some sort of kind of history of maybe not this exactly, but kind of these bad behaviors that don't signal great things. We see said not great thing happen. And avoiding trial is insane. Because I'm telling you right now, if me or you or anyone we know who are charged with aggravated battery, deadly weapon, fleeing from police, resisting arrest, and stalking, we're going to prison because we are not football players in the National Football League.
Yeah. I got pulled over for having an out of date registration, and then I was hit with not having a license, and I got a warning for not having my plates on the front of my car. I was only able to shake free of one of those fines. I still paid over $100 for that. So if minor crimes are unavoidable for the average person, I don't understand how so many crimes are allowed to be avoidable for people who are high
You,
profile. If anything,
you
you'd think,
being rich and famous means that crime doesn't apply to you. That's how it works.
yeah,
Um,
you have more eyeballs on you, so we'll make sure you receive exceptional treatment as opposed to treatment consistent with the law.
and this is obviously not just an NFL problem. We got a lot of places that we could direct the spotlight at where we see stuff like this happen.
Yeah. Um, well, I was going to say, speaking of crime, this is the list of criminals. Uh, Rasheed
Literally.
Rice, is the list. I mean, am I wrong? Rasheed
This
Rice.
episode will be titled "Wholly Unethical Baller."
Yeah, I mean, seriously, it's been a brutal couple of months for player news.
Yeah,
Rasheed Rice served 30 days in jail. I believe was it a DUI or some vehicular
it was when
malfeasance?
he was like speed racing through Dallas, Texas, like literally drag racing on the freeway with his friends, and got into a car accident while doing so.
Um, what a scary set of highways to do that on, by the way.
Yeah,
Like, not to belabor the wrong point. You're in Texas. There are so many empty highways. Like, yeah, why did we do this in Dallas?
yeah,
But yeah, 30 days in jail and then a cleanup surgery on the right knee that'll cause him to miss 2 months. So his availability for training camp up in the air at best. Um, Totally avoidable. But hey, he served time, which is more than a lot of players can say.
yeah. 5 years probation as well for that. I was just looking into it. Um,
Oh well.
Now this story I actually originally wrote as a person being unethical, and then like I always do, because I do this and not a lot of people do. I looked into it. I said, let me make sure. Let me look every story I put on here, every headline I see, I look it up and I'm like, what's the story behind this? So I
Very
looked
ethical
this one
behavior.
up. I looked this
Yeah.
one up. Chiefs defensive tackle Michael Pinnell Jr. Pinnell, I don't know. Um, had a story published by ESPN that said he was in an ongoing relationship with a woman whose body was found on his property. So she disappeared, later found on his property, and ESPN published a story like he was in a relationship with this person. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And I saw like Adam Schefter tweet it because that's how I get a lot of my football news. And I was like, wow. And then when I looked into it, I saw that the story had been very quietly unpublished. No, no, like we made a mistake, guys. This was not our thing. Um, but they did not own up to their mistakes or say sorry or anything like that, from what I could find. After his team, his legal team, gave them a bunch of evidence that basically gave him an alibi, and he was like, I could not have even been here. He was like out of the country. Like they gave him like travel records and stuff. Um, so I want to say this person, it's like was like a childhood friend of his or something like that when I was reading it. So basically, he was kind of almost accused by an ESPN article of knowingly having this person buried on his property. And ESPN just fully published that, and then they realized it was wrong, and they just took it down without saying a word.
Yeah. I remember reading this article. I had forgotten about it until I read it in here, and I was like, oh, I because I he grew up, I believe it was an island nation of some kind. Maybe
I
it
think it
was
was
the
in the
Dominican
Dominican
Republic.
Republic. Yeah,
That's what I thought. And yeah, this was like one of his childhood friends, and then they reported on like, oh, there was one of his other guy friends who he fell out of favor with because they were fighting over a woman. And like I remember reading the story and going like, oh, okay, this looks really bad for him if true, but it didn't seem conclusive. Um, and I guess I just never realized it got taken down, and I kind of forgot about it in the moment. But yeah, this stuff sucks. And to me, the thing that's so shocking about it is I feel like it's precedent and not even necessarily like not to say it isn't foot and mouth, but if you're a journalist, your responsibility is to collect the information you can collect and present the story that you see. And I remember reading this and thinking that they weren't particularly specific about the connection. And I think if you had just done an update at the top of the article that said, ESPN has since received information from Pennell Jr.'s team that, if accurate, would exonerate him based on where he was located or something like that.
Right.
um, it feels really easy for them to do that and not outside of journalistic norms to do that. And so just disappearing the story. My only thing is, I wonder if his team said, I want this to go away. We don't need a press conference about it. We're just going to out of sight, out of mind it. Um, because have you heard of the Streisand effect?
Yeah, I've heard of it,
So
but I couldn't tell you exactly what it is or anything.
I think Streisand had like a picture of her house. Barbara Streisand had a picture of her house and she wanted it taken off the internet because she didn't want her privacy invaded. And so everyone saw the photo because she was talking about it. And then everyone saw her home. And I
Mm,
wonder if you're Pennell's team, do you just say, like, hey, it's going to be more of a story if you retract your story. So just disappear it and it'll fall out of the public consciousness. I wonder if that was almost not to exonerate ESPN. I still think ESPN should have done a better job here. Just a
yeah.
really interesting and unusual case because I feel like it's so easy to just issue a correction and move on.
Yeah,
Um,
I think journalists, especially like ESPN, they're so like we got to get the first chomp at the bit of this story. We got to make sure nobody else kind of gets to it. Let's release it before we even have everything we need. Um, but yeah, I just thought it was interesting because it's not like it was an Adam Schefter story, but I saw an Adam Schefter tweet about it because that's what Adam Schefter does. He's kind of like, I will say every ESPN article for people to look because I have a mass following. Um, and then, yeah, I don't know. I feel like now it will have a kind of a stained character concern in the aftermath, even though it wasn't true.
yeah, yeah. Um, I hope that this gets maybe publicized a little more. The fact that they did this and he's exonerated of that because you know assuming it's true that he wasn't involved at all, then it's actually probably pretty heartbreaking for him that a childhood friend was found dead on his property, right? Like it's not just that he was cast in a negative light. This is also
Mm-hmm.
something that personally affected him, right? So, um, all right. Continuing, former Raiders wide receiver Henry Ruggs was denied parole after serving 5 years for killing a woman in a car crash in Las Vegas. I think Ruggs's case was one of the more prolific kind of criminal acts by a player in the last decade. And I don't want to speak to his efforts at reform. I don't know how much he's worked on himself or not worked on himself, but I think this is a crime of a severity that I, there's a lot of times where parole's denied where that's not a good thing. I don't feel that way for this one for sure.
Yeah. He killed somebody being an idiot, so. Yeah, 5 years seems like it would have been much too late of a sentence.
Yeah, it's interesting because on the one hand, is 5 years long enough to reflect on it and probably like reach conclusions about your life? Probably. Um, and if that's the purpose of being in jail, you know, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm not. I think probably should still be in jail, but it raises interesting conversations. Either way, I imagine he will be in jail for quite a while before he sees the light again.
Yeah,
Um, these next two I'm just going to take because they're gross, and I don't want to think about them. Calais Campbell's mother was found dead. Calais Campbell's brother was charged with murder. Um, Former defensive back at Arkansas State and NFL scout for the Titans, Blaze Taylor, was found guilty of murdering his girlfriend and her unborn child. I don't think I realized that was a conviction, but absolutely disgusting, um, and totally reprehensible. So nothing more to say
yeah.
there. I think.
Believe that one was in 2024, so that one just finally went to court, had the
Mhm.
proceedings, etc. Um, Calais Campbell's mother was known to be a big part of his kind of charitable organizations. So obviously very sad personally, but from that standpoint too. So bad, 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 bad. One more, one more unethical baller. Uh,
I have one more after this, but it's not as bad. So
okay, let's talk about our team for a little bit, and how I understand the situation. I think um, I I should have put, I guess at the time, Lions cornerback Terrion Arnold turned himself in. He's facing 4 counts of kidnapping, 4 counts of armed robbery, which altogether could have a potential of life in prison. Now, the government said no bond, hold him without bond. And the Tampa Bay court said, we're going to give him a bond. We're not just going to hold him. $1 million bond. He paid the $1 million bond, and he's out. And theoretically, he was going to go to training camp, but the Lions released him and he cleared waivers and is now just a free agent. Free agent. How I understand the situation is somebody robbed Terrion Arnold and maybe his friends or something, and he basically utilized some women that he knew to kind of lure the kidnappers back, or not the kidnappers, the robbers back to his place, and then held them up at gunpoint with his friends and left them there and held them hostage for a while. And it kind of turned into this obviously very toxic situation. Am I missing any crucial details here?
yeah, let me jump in a little bit. Not that you're super far off, but so I think it was suspected, like maybe it was his drivers who he suspected as the kidnapper. So yeah, he used some women he knew, lured them to the place where the kidnap or the robbery happened, and then he wasn't there physically. But the
Mm,
claim, the allegation is
right.
that
I did hear
via
this. Yeah.
via FaceTime or maybe via live stream, he was directing them as they were pistol whipping and interrogating these people who I believe it turns out were not the thieves. So um the reason Arnold was convicted, because this story's been lingering since February, was that he previously had not been linked to it, and it was only after a few of the conspirators took a plea deal
Mm.
that he was ratted out. And I hear that, and I go, "Is there a chance that these people are just trying to pin it on somebody else?" I suppose. The fact that he almost wasn't given bond, originally wasn't given bond, um, kind of crazy, and makes me feel like this could be. And $1 million bond is, I feel like, a huge number. Granted, I guess maybe it's proportional to your income or whatever, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think this one's. I respect that the Lions let him go. I saw an article. I can't remember how much it was speculation or if it was based on an insider's point of view, but like whether this was reflective of the fact the Lions didn't think he was going to start this year, and so it was like less impactful to their team. But he was first round pick 2 years ago. And enough people have said it on Reddit. What a brutal draft class.
Ding,
But
ding, 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 ding. You have activated my trivia game.
yeah,
Oh, yeah. It's time for my trivia to you, Jared.
hit me.
So, Terrion Arnold, first player out in the first round of the 24 draft class.
Yeah.
24? Um, so I thought, oh, wow, that's interesting. What a bad looking draft pick by the Lions. Um, and as a Lions fan, I kind of played around with different ideas. Um, but Jared, how long would you say you've been a fan of the Lions?
I would say, passively most of my life, but I really probably started watching and following 2012 to 2014, like 2014 for sure was that playoff year with the Cowboys.
Okay. Okay. So, Jared, what I will quiz you now on, and I thought about how many rounds. I think I'll just do first. First round pick for the Lions or picks from 2026. Back as far as you can go. I guess we'll say 2014, but if we can go further, and can you do them in order?
Okay. I'm going to take a few misses here, but I'm pretty confident I can get us back to probably 2016.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh, so do you want to start with this year and work your way backwards, or is that the way that
Yeah.
makes the
So
most
this
sense?
year, we'll talk about the draft. This was the guy I said I wanted.
Yeah.
2026, Blake Miller.
Yeah.
2025, Tyleek Williams.
Yeah.
24, Terrion Arnold. 23, we had two, Jameer Gibbs and Jack Campbell. 22, I guess it was the Hutch and Williams year.
It was.
21, that would have been Panay.
Yep.
2020, this is the tough one. It's Jeff Okuda.
Doing great.
I know. I'm thinking on 2019.
Hmm.
Jeff Okuda is the
Do you like doing it in order? You like that
no, it's
ritual?
I mean like I could go around and pick up a few. Oh no, I think he was 1 year before he was 1 or 2 years before that. I've got some guys in mind. I should probably speak aloud. The question is like, okay, I look at offense or defense, whoever it is, probably still isn't on the team. I know Ragnow was a pick in the first round, but I believe we took him in 18, which means that we need to pick in 2019, and that would be either my senior year of high school, freshman year of college. It was my freshman year of college. I was there in person to watch TJ Hawkinson go at the top of the first. Then 2018, Frank Ragnow. 2017, you ready for this? Was it Jared Davis?
Mm-hmm.
2016, Taylor Decker.
Yep.
2015, Laken Tomlinson.
It's impressive.
2014, Eric Ebron.
How much further can he go?
How much further can he go? So, oh, you know
How
what?
much
Because
further
Sue
can he
was
go
10.
without misses would be great.
Was 2013. Oh, no, because I think he was 2011. Hang on. So I'm 90% sure that Ezekiel Ansah was a 2012 first round pick, which he was my first jersey. So I should know that. He was number 5, and I believe it was the 2012 draft. I can tell you came out of BYU. 2013, oh boy. We took Ebron in 14, which means we wouldn't have taken our receiver core was primarily free agents at that point. 2010, we had two first round picks. 2011 or yeah. See, hmm, this is I think this player was 2011. Um, but I think he had to. Well, hmm, it's really a matter of because Nick Fairley's the other guy. So I know that to from 2010 to 2013, I can name almost all of the guys. It's going to be Ezekiel Ansah. It's going to be O'Reilly Reef might be in there. That's kind of sneaky. Brandon Pettigrew, Javid Best, Ndamukong Suh, um, Nick Fairley. I guess it comes down to did we take multiple guys per draft? Um, was 2013 Nick Fairley?
2013 was not Nick Fairley.
Was
That
2013 Ansah then?
it was Ansa.
Okay.
First,
2012.
you did say in Lions fandom, you said at least 2014, and you got through 2014
I did.
without
I
a
did.
strike. So
Yeah,
that's
that was pretty crazy. But I can go further. I can
yeah.
probably I could get you close to 2000.
Okay.
2012 Riley Reef.
2012 was Riley Reid.
Jesus Christ, I'm cooking. That means 11 was Nick Fairley.
11 was Nick Fairley. Yeah.
In 2010, we had three first round picks, and they were Sue, Pettigrew, and Javid Best, correct?
You only had two first round picks in 2010.
Oh, then it would have to be Pettigrew and Best, correct? And not Sue?
Sue and Best in 2010.
Sue and Best. Sue
Yeah.
and Best. Oh, okay. Geez, then when did we take Pettigrew? Because I know Pettigrew was a first round pick. Um, 2009 was Stafford. Did we take Pettigrew in the Stafford draft?
Yes, both in
Okay.
2009.
All right. I was in the family. I was in the family. Um, '08 is pretty easy. Calvin Johnson.
Calvin Johnson's not '08.
Calvin Johnson's not a wait. Calvin Johnson's '07.
Calvin Johnson is '07.
Wait, real because sorry, I was thinking he played the 2008 season
Yeah,
because it was the 0 and 16 season was his first season. That was his rookie year.
yeah.
No, but that would mean it would have to have been the I know it was the '07 draft, but then maybe that was his second year in the league.
Well, he's taken the '07 draft, plays the '07-'08 season, and then in the '08 draft they take somebody else. But yeah, maybe it was the second season that they went 0 and 16, I guess. Yeah,
This is '08's tough.
it's a name I literally don't recognize at all.
I okay, that helps me because I'm confident. It's one of two names. Um, I'm gonna try. Was it Gosder Sherilis? Is
It
it?
sure was Coster Shirtless. Nice
Um,
pull, nice
thank
pull.
you. '06 is gonna be really hard.
Yeah, '07 Calvin, and then yeah, and then I can,
'06.
as we creep back into the long ago, I can maybe start throwing out positions or initials or something like that if you
No,
need some
I have a
guidance.
feeling '06. I had a couple names.
Or pick number. That could be fun. Or college. I'll just
Okay,
throw out some fun stuff. It
I'll throw out some fun stuff. Was '06? Was it Dominic Raiola?
was not Dominic Raiola. I'm trying to even. You're about 5 years off on that one.
Was Raiola '01? Good for him. Um,
001, also not a first round pick.
okay. Well,
Um,
I was just trying to think. Yeah,
yeah,
'06 because this is a player who, if they were good, would have been at like the edge of my awareness.
yeah.
Um,
They don't appear to have been very good. Based on, I mean,
this is
eh,
'06.
yeah,
So I know for a fact we took two receivers with the last name Williams in the early aughts, but I think the second one was '05. So um '06. Can you
on
give me a side of the ball?
defense. Yeah.
Oh, defense is worse.
Ask whatever information and I'll give it.
Um, how many years was he alive?
Looks like until 2013. Hold on. Let me make sure that's correct. And nope, 2009. His career was until 2013, but he left the Lions after the 2009 season. Looks like he really only had three good seasons with the Lions.
Jared
And but
DeVries?
not Jared DeVries. See if I can find that name.
I don't think he was a first round pick. I don't know if he's a first round pick. He's like when I was first conscious of football, he was just one of the names, obviously shared name.
I'm just looking
Um,
at a list of all the people the Lions have drafted, basically, and when they were drafted. Yeah. I'll give you pick number 9. Does that help you at all?
no,
Probably
what
not.
college?
Florida State. Probably not helpful.
Feeling was he a defensive back?
Linebacker.
A linebacker in '06. You said his career was till 2013, and you'd never heard of this guy.
No. He had over 100 combined tackles his first 3 years with the Lions. Um,
Can you give me initials?
ES.
ES? Yeah, I don't know.
ES.
I don't know who
Yeah.
this is.
Ernie Sims.
Oh, Ernie Sims. I know the name. I could have gotten that.
Yeah. Well, we'll
I don't
say
think I
that's where
knew he
your
played.
your cap is. We'll say Calvin is the like that's where you after that. Yeah.
I could give you three of the next five.
Yeah.
Because
Okay. I'm
was
ready.
oh 05 was oh 05 Roy Williams?
Nope.
Was it Mike Williams?
It was Mike Williams. Yeah.
Okay. Roy Williams was oh 03. And
Nope.
no? That was he oh 04? Did he really do it back to back drafts? Legend. Okay. So it was Roy
Uh,
Williams, then Mike Williams, oh 04 and oh 05.
they have another '04 pick though. Pick 30 in the first round.
Position.
Running back.
Oh, well, I was looking at the Lions running backs just now, so there's a chance.
Okay.
Running back.
Only played till 2008.
What'd you say the linebacker's name was?
Ernie Sims.
I need initials for this guy.
KJ.
Kevin Johnson?
Close. Kevin's his first name. Kevin Johnson's an
Kevin
NBA point
Jackson.
guard.
Kevin Jackson. Kevin Jackson. Kevin Jackson.
Yeah, it's Kevin Jones, but we'll pretend like it's Kevin Jackson.
Kevin Jones. The Kevin Jackson of whatever.
Do you think you have like any random years in the bag?
Was 2000 Joey Harrington?
Nope. Close, but
Was he 99 then?
he was 2002.
Um, I feel like as a Lions fan, I have to know. Was it the 89 draft with Barry?
Yes.
89 draft with Barry. Was the 93 draft Herman Moore?
I was gonna say, do you know when Herman Moore was drafted? No. Herman Moore. Where was Herman Moore drafted? Hold on, now I gotta go find this brother. Oh, I found him. What'd you say? 93?
93.
91.
Ah, close.
Uh-uh.
All right, I'll try one more just to be cute. Was Charlie Sanders 1981?
Charlie Sanders. Um, I'm not even seeing the name. Let me Google, or let me not Google, but let me pull up this. Charlie Sanders was 1968
So
and,
close.
and was a third round pick.
God, who was I even thinking of? I didn't necessarily. I
Uh,
don't know. I knew he was a Hall of Famer. I just didn't know. I feel like he's a fun Hall of Famer to have in the back of the brain. Yeah, I'm out. I'm tapped. Pretty
fair.
happy with that.
Yeah, no,
Um,
it's a good performance. Did you enjoy that? You
Gosder
enjoyed?
Cherilus. When you were like, I don't know who this guy is, I was like, there's a chance.
I was like, I don't know who that is at all. Uh,
Yeah, I remember those kind of late aughts, early teens. It was Rayola, Cherilus. We had Reef, and then we kind of remade Lake and Tomlinson. Uh, I remember Jim Caldwell. I think we traded back with a team in that draft or something. But I'm a big draft head, so when you were like, "Oh, let's do first round picks," I was like, I feel all right. I feel all right.
yeah, I feel like if it was like, can you name every player from the last 5 years, it would, or 10 years? I feel like it would get kind of hard after a while.
That would be fun. Well, because I
So,
thought you were going to say, "Can you name the entire 2024 class?" And I was going to be like, you know,
yeah, tough. It would be tough.
um, it would be tough. Well, thank you for putting that together. I said I wanted to do trivia, and you gave me some good trivia.
I looked at a list. I don't know if put together is a strong term. Um, I thought of an idea. That was it.
Thank you for selecting an engaging theme and
And
facilitating it.
it's a good segue into the draft as well, but I think you said you had one more unethical baller.
No, we'll skip. Not that important.
Okay.
It wasn't a crime. It was more about Diana Rossini, but I think we're all done with
Mm,
that story.
yeah, very unethical.
Very unethical. All right. NFL draft. Damon, we played a game.
Yeah.
10 takes. We each got to steal a take from the other person. Whoever had more takes wins. Damon, how
Yeah.
many correct takes did you have and what were they?
I guess it's two technically. My first one, Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love goes in the top 10. I wrote Cardinals at 3, Titans at 4, Commanders at 7. He went Cardinals at 3. So that would be a correct take. And then I wrote this one is kind of correct because I wrote the Chiefs draft a legendary corner at pick 9, and then I wrote Mansour-Delane in parentheses. And then they traded up to pick 6 to get Mansour-Delane. So they got him, but they didn't get him at pick 9. So I don't know if is that a half credit maybe. I guess. And then there was a lot that I was pretty close on. Um, I said I'll just quickly rip through these ones. I said Fernando Mendoza is the only quarterback that goes in the first 2 rounds. Rams took Ty Simpson at 13. Um, I wrote doesn't matter where he goes, Caleb Downs will win Rookie of the Year. Well, we're still waiting on that one.
Yeah,
Um, and then I put adjusted pick. Caleb Downs goes top 5. Didn't happen. Um, so that
yeah, I
we'll count
remember that
that.
one being non-verifiable. So
Yeah, well, we'll count that one as wrong. Falcons trade back into the first round by giving up Jesse Bates. Didn't happen. The Steelers make a pick I do not understand at all at 21. They took an offensive tackle. It's never bad to take an offensive tackle, so that's okay. Um,
yeah,
6 wide receivers go in the first round. I put Cardinal Tate, Makai Lemon, Jordan Tyson, Omar Cooper Jr., Casey Concepcion, Denzel Boston. Boston did not go in the first round. But all the other ones did. And I did write Titans, Jets, Eagles, Browns. All of them took one of those guys. And then I wrote
impressive.
Patriots, Dolphins. I don't think they took receivers. Um, but then the first pick of the second round was a receiver. So I was this close. I was one
The
pick
Niners
away.
just went sicko mode and took a guy who was not Denzel Boston. So
Yeah, yeah, it was interesting.
Boston ended
Um,
up with the Browns, right? Did I make that up?
yeah, I think so. I think they took him in the second round. Um, Despite not having a third round pick, Lions will draft 2 offensive linemen in the first 5 rounds, one of which will come in the first round. They took Blake Miller in the first round, like you mentioned, but they did not take that second offensive lineman. Some guy named Jennings Dunker is going to get drafted to a good team. He got drafted to the Steelers, so that's wrong. And I stole your idea for offensive lineman going a row at some point in the first round. That didn't happen. So that was my 10.
Do you remember why you cared about Jennings Dunker?
His name was cool.
It was that, and he was the guy at the combine with the like
He had a
red
cool
haired
mullet.
mullet, and he was
Yeah,
big at a moment.
yeah,
Um, all right, I'll go through my 10. I got two right. Uh, you got two right, so roughly a tie. At least one team picks 3 times in the first round. Ding, ding, ding. That was the
yeah,
Jets. Damon,
yeah.
before this draft, do you remember the last team who used 3 first round picks?
Oh,
Um,
Jesus. Did we talk about it when you said it too? Because I probably forgot.
Probably.
Nope, no clue.
This is what I was trying to verify before we started. I believe, unless I'm mistaken, it was the Jets in 2022.
Yeah,
So
I was gonna say, was it the Jets? I don't know why. But okay.
yeah, the Jaguars are the only team not currently picking in the first who will end up picking in the first. That was wrong. They did get a lot of judgment for their second round pick of a tight end, but that's that's the smart football people take. I won't go there. I said
Yeah.
greater than 9 offensive linemen would be drafted in round 1. Again, coattailing the smart people. Wrong. It was exactly 9.
Hmm.
Spencer Fano, Francis Maliola, Caden Proctor, um, Vega Ione. I was looking at his name on the list and I was like, who is this? Vega
Hmm.
Ione, Blake Miller, Monroe Freeling, Max Ionichor, um, and then Caleb Lomu, and that's 8. Oh, Keelan Rutledge. That's 9. So um close. But no cigar on that one. No wide receivers go top 10. I was wrong at pick 4. Opinion Sadiq goes top 10. I was wrong at pick 11. Sonny Styles, I believe he went at 15 to the Jets. He did.
16. Yeah.
Sorry, went 16 with the Jets. Um, Kalen Green or Sonny Styles to the Titans at 4. Nope. 5 and 7 wrong at the same time. Taylon Green announced as a non-quarterback. This did not happen. Jermon McCoy falls out of the first round. That was the second one I
Yeah.
got
You're
right. He was
you're
not first round.
bang on the money. He fell far.
Yeah, he was first pick of the fourth by the Raiders, I believe. Yeah, he fell farther than even I expected.
Yeah.
And then I wanted the kickers Trey Smack and Kansei Matsuzawa to both be
Yeah.
drafted. Smack got drafted, Matsuzawa did not, but he is with the Raiders. Um, and then I stole your pick. Giants take Peter Woods to replace Dexter Lawrence. The second, and if you scramble the letters of Francis Maui Noah or Arvell Reese, you do not get Peter Woods. So um,
Tough, tough. Little did I
instead,
know that
the Chiefs,
Arvell Reese was going to be available for them at 5.
they were probably jumping for
Yeah,
jumping for joy.
not going to happen.
Um, yeah, real quick, let's hit a couple surprises and moments. One that's not listed here, but it connects to the point you're going to make in a moment.
Yeah,
The Eagles, the Steelers called Makai Lemon to let him know that they were drafting him. And then, sorry, Steelers, hang on, I'm getting a call. Hello, Philadelphia. Oh, you traded ahead of the Steelers and you are now taking me. So the Steelers call Makai Lemon, who then goes a pick before the Steelers. Utter embarrassment in the state of Philadelphia.
yeah.
Can't feel great if you're Max Ionichor, but I don't think it's a bad pick from the Steelers. I just think a pretty tough moment on camera for them.
Yeah, it was a little embarrassing for them. And I think if you're an NBA, NFL player, you know that this is happening, right? You know that there's a board and there's a list of names and there's an order. And by the time you're picked, you may not be the number one guy, but to see it unfold on live television is a little different. So I can't imagine that felt very good. And once that trade up for Makai Lemon, which 20 was pretty far for him. I think people were not expecting him to still be here at this point. That was done and dusted for AJ Brown, who then got traded to the Patriots for a 2028 first, 2027 fifth round pick. I don't understand trades in the NFL nearly as well as I do in the NBA because the pick values always seem to just fly all over the place. Um, but AJ Brown clearly unhappy, and now he is going somewhere where he is the certified number one because they got nobody over there except Romeo Dobbs, who they signed, and a bunch of guys that didn't look very good last year. And so he's probably happy with that. The Eagles get a young stud who I guess fits the timeline relatively with Devontae and is kind of young. Jalen Hurts is getting older now, but like he I think can develop by year 3 or whatever, like what you want to call the glory year for a receiver, and the rest of their team will still be intact, I think. Um, so I guess it's a win-win. I don't know.
Yeah, great wide receivers pop early, so there's a chance he makes a difference right away. In terms of trade value, what I read, heard, listening to podcasts and such, is that the Eagles really wanted a first round pick. But the way the NFL kind of thinks about picks is like the further out they are, the lower value they are. Um, so a first rounder this year is worth a second rounder next year kind of thing. And so from the Patriots perspective, you're probably saying, okay, we're giving up a second and a fifth, but for the Eagles, when it's 2028, it's a first round pick, right? Um,
hmm
so I think this is honestly, I think it's probably a pretty decent compromise because I'm 27 first.
hmm
Um, and so props to them for getting that value there. And they made another swap as well, receiving Jonathan Gennard from the Vikings in exchange for pick 98 in this draft and a third rounder next year, then getting a 4-year, $98 million extension. And maybe I'm just contract pilled because I've been following the NBA so closely. I
hmm
wonder if this is a move where you give up a lot of capital, but you're getting a player who can be a real impact on the edge without being a $30 million a year contract on your books. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. I know they lost like N'Kobe Dean. I'm not sure if they lost how many other people on that position group they lost that I can remember off the top of my head. But if it's a position of need and you think he'll fill it, and obviously you want to contend, had a relatively disappointing playoff exit last year, um, makes sense. Try to stay in contention. Won the Super Bowl the year before that. Let's get what we need. Two picks for linebackers, interesting though. Oh,
I
I
think
guess
he's
it's
more of
one.
a pass rusher, pass rushing linebacker. But
They
yeah,
love edge
um,
rushers.
yeah. Can you take this disappointing Vanderbilt news so I can move on from this sadness?
Vanderbilt quarterback Diego Pavia, after going undrafted, um, after being in the Heisman race, signed a 3-year deal with the Ravens, who also signed undrafted UConn quarterback Joey Vignano. Um, and let's not forget they have two Pro Bowl quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson and Snoop Huntley, on their roster. So it's a crowded QB room for Diego Pavia to prove his might. But he's mobile, so I guess that's the room that makes sense for him to be in.
Yeah. Learn from Lamar. I think being in, I think he probably needs a year or two to find a little maturity. And if you're a small quarterback, you probably make up for that with accuracy and vision, and you're only going to develop an NFL quality um accuracy with experience. So listen, I love him for everything he gave our school. Diego Pavia has made me a Vanderbilt football fan, despite having gone. I didn't really care that much, and Pavia really put us on the map. So credit to him there. Um, and then this is news about next draft, not this draft. The NFL declined to hold a supplemental draft. Quarterback Brendan Sorsby. And if you are unfamiliar with the Brendan Sorsby situation, let me give you the 1 minute rundown. Brendan Sorsby is a college football quarterback who is expected to be a first rounder in the 2027 NFL draft, who transferred to Texas Tech through the portal this offseason. However, he was found to be gambling tens of thousands of dollars through family and friends, including for his own team, though he was not active for Indiana when he was a freshman. He was betting on Indiana games. Therefore, he says, I'm going to rehab. He goes away for a while. He comes back and says, I would like to play. The NCAA says, not a chance. You're out for the year. He petitions his eligibility in a court in Lubbock, Texas, home of Texas Tech, where the judge says, actually, only a 2-game suspension for Mr. Sorsby. The NCAA is outraged. The Big 12 is outraged. People are petitioning against Texas Tech, blah, blah, blah. Sorsby then pivots, even though he hasn't lost the case subsequently. He believes a challenge from the NCAA will strike down his eligibility. And so he decides to declare for the supplemental draft. Now, the NFL has the right to decline to hold a supplemental draft, of which Sorsby would have been the only player. And in the past, they just haven't done this. They've just chosen to keep it around. So, what I heard a lot of was like, there's a precedent for the draft going on. There's a legal right for the NFL to decline the draft. In this case, they declined the draft and apparently reached some sort of arbitration or settlement with Sorsby that he will be eligible in 2027. He will take the year to get himself ready. He may play in the Senior Bowl, etc. So he goes from suspended in the NCAA to potentially playing after a 2-game suspension to trying to get into the NFL draft to not being allowed into the supplemental draft. Apparently, some people said they could have spent as high as a second-round pick in the supplemental on him. The supplemental draft is just basically a gambling system where each team puts in the round of pick that they would use. The worst team of the highest round where someone bids a pick gets the player. They forfeit that pick in the next draft. So the Cardinals
Excuse me,
used
did
this.
did you say gambling? The NFL would never have a gambling system in place.
Sorry, that mistake was sponsored by DraftKings. It's not a gambling system.
It's
You're putting in there's an element of chance, but
an
it's a bidding
auction.
system.
Yeah,
It's an auction, but it's a blind auction. So
yeah.
you put in what you're willing to give. Um, Second round, apparently, I would be surprised if that happened. I imagine it would have been lower. I do think there's a team that would have thrown a sixth or seventh round pick at him, maybe. But yeah, it was really interesting saga. The NFL was like, you've been trying to weasel your way out of this, and we're kind of not going to let you do it. So respect to the NFL for holding a player who committed a crime accountable. Now let's try doing this with people who commit violent crimes. Yeah.
I was gonna say, in college gambling, no, no, no. NFL beating your wife, all right, that's the NFL's
Yeah.
motto. Um,
Um,
Tough.
yeah, the NFL brings down the hammer a lot on its own gambling. There was a big kind of bust 3 or 4 years ago, which actually hit the Lions probably the hardest in terms of number of players. So there's a lot of like gambling awareness in the pro leagues. Obviously, NBA being rocked with a gambling scandal right now. Um, Sorsby didn't go so far as to manipulate the market through his play, and that's probably the only reason that he will have a chance to play in the NFL. I think if he did that, he's done. So
And he didn't try to appeal. He just said, okay, because some people thought he was maybe going to kind of fight back that decision by the
yeah,
NFL.
the
Uh,
agent made a statement, and then they didn't follow through. So um, yeah, pretty interesting saga there. Any thoughts on that, or any other thoughts on the 2026 draft in general, Damon?
no more thoughts on Brendan Sorsby. I do just for it's been 2 months since the draft. Kind of want to say what I remember shocking me the day of. Um, I feel like I remember David Bailey going second to the Jets was a little bit of a shock. I feel like everyone penciled in Arvell Reese. Um, Love going third was crazy. It's like, oh my God, that's a running back going third in the big 2-6. That's
Yep.
wild, even though I predicted it. Still wild. Sonny Styles falling to 7. Great for the Commanders. I thought he was probably going to be a top 5 pick, so that's awesome for them. Caleb Downs falling to the Cowboys at 11 makes me want to cut my own heart out because I was like, this guy's going to be awesome, and then he went to the Cowboys, so now I must hate him. Um, Ty Simpson, bad,
Mm.
bad pick. I didn't like it at all. I said no quarterback outside Mendoza's going in the first round. He went pick 13. Um, Rams are trying to win a Super Bowl. They draft a quarterback that's not going to play because they have Matthew Stafford. So I didn't love that. We already talked about Makai Lemon. Thought that was cool. That's really it. Those were kind of the big like good or bad feelings I had about the first round because after the first round, I have no idea what's going on.
Mm.
Look out for Carson
Um,
Beck and Jacoby Brissett battling in the quarterback room in Arizona as Jacoby
a
Brissett
war.
holds his franchise hostage and hasn't signed an extension.
Yeah, I'm on
It's
I'm on
awesome.
Team Brissett. I don't like the way
For
the
sure.
Rams.
For sure.
Um, yeah.
Absolutely.
Um, I was upset because the Ty Simpson thing happened, and I thought I had a big brain idea where I was like, oh, they're saving their draft picks in the 27 draft, and they'll use those as trade ammunition this year because they know they have a quarterback. And then other pundits started saying it, and then 2 months passed. But I do remember thinking like, oh, if the Rams take Simpson now, the only way I could see this working is if they then burn that capital in the future, knowing they have the quarterback and don't need their 27, 28 picks. And as we'll talk about later, that seems to have been the approach. Um,
Jared called it. Let's go.
Tough. Yeah, I have no proof of having called it, but let's say I did.
Let's
Um,
rip through these signings.
God, let's burn through them, please.
I love yapping with you though. It's so fun. Oh, it's so
No, it's
fun.
this has been it's been really refreshing to come back and do this. I feel like we've had a nice mix of trivia, a nice mix. I'm excited for this tight end question you got here at the bottom.
Oh yeah.
Um,
A little mini triv.
let's scorch and torch. Broncos and head coach Sean Payton agreed on a new 5-year contract. They just released an expose about him, not a negative one, just a piece on him at ESPN today. I saw something about
Sounded
it.
like you said sign Peyton instead of Sean Payton, which was funny.
Sean Payton.
I
Yeah.
saw in the piece that he said you guys should hire Bill Belichick to be your head coach, and I'll be an assistant head coach. And then when he passes Don Shula for the most wins, then I'll become the head coach again. And I was like, that's crazy.
Did
Why
he
would-
actually say that? That's insane.
Yeah, he like suggested that to the Broncos leadership.
Wow. But they said no. Why?
Because it's an insane idea.
Right.
Um, Titans legend Jeffrey Simmons, defensive tackle, 3 years, $106 million extension, including $100 million guaranteed. That's a lot of guaranteed money, making him the highest paid defensive tackle in the league per year basis. I think he's 29 right now, so this will carry for the early 30s, which is old, relatively speaking, for an NFL player. But a good player. Do you think he's deserving of this contract?
Yeah, interior defensive lineman, I think age like fine wine, in some ways, and I think compared to like wide receiver, I don't feel nearly as bad about his 29 through 32. You see a guy like, not to, obviously we talked about him in a negative context previously, but like Calais Campbell, has played
Mm.
late into his 40s pretty
He's
much,
about to
and
be
he's
40,
still,
I think. Yeah,
yeah, and he's still like an impact level player.
he's
So
awesome.
yeah, I think it's cool. I sure that y'all were talking about this with Giannis, but um, when small market or not as successful teams, obviously they won a championship with Giannis, have a true marquee guy, I think it means a lot to the franchise's fans to be able to root for them. I'm sure Simmons is that guy for a lot of Titans fans. So that was cool.
It's cool, and
Um,
it's a defender too. It's like extra cool because
yeah,
everyone knows the quarterbacks and the the offensive weapons, but
yeah. Simmons just seems like everyone could appreciate him. He's a little bit of a ball nose guy in the sense that D tackle isn't a huge position, but I'm sure every Titans fan loves Jeffrey Simmons.
should we
Here's
have talked
a
about Sean Payton at all? I kind of blazed right through it and didn't let us talk about it, but like, yes, obviously you extend him because he's a good coach. You just almost made the
Yep,
Super Bowl. Uh,
very successful so
yeah,
far, and yeah, he's done a lot. He undid the Russell Wilson mistake and
right.
got him to the AFC Championship. Uh, it's interesting because there's a lot of talk about him promoting Davis Webb to offensive coordinator because he was so potentially sought after as a voice in the league, giving up play calling, which
Yeah.
is unprecedented for Peyton. And I think that shows an awareness that I think is nice. Um, I want to keep us moving here though, because we could
No,
get
yeah,
stuck
yeah.
in quicksand. And I do have thoughts about this one. Chargers safety Derwin James signed a 3-year, $75.6 million extension, including $57.5 million guaranteed, making him the highest paid safety in the league. What do you think?
I'll tell you this. You said you had thoughts on it. Typically, that's a negative thing. Um, I like Derwin James. I like watching Derwin James. I feel like he's a not only do I think he's a decent safety, which I cannot say that my safety analysis is very good because how on earth am I supposed to analyze who's a good safety? But he seems to be kind of a big culture piece for this Chargers team too. Like a lot of guys seem to look up to him as kind of a leader on defense, and that's something that's hard to find and hard to buy. And he's been there for a while. Like I would say, like my adult football fandom, he kind of was like
Mhm.
his rookie year was like really the start of that. So I've kind of seen a lot of his career play out as an adult, like me being an adult. Um, and just these guys, like another one that comes to mind is like Denzel Ward for the Browns, like these guys that are just on the defensive back of a team, and kind of setting a tone in that way. I feel like just like Jeff Simmons, we just talked about, kind of goes underrated. Now, is he the best safety in the league? Should he be making the most? No, but he's good. He's their guy, so it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, he had like, I feel like I remember two of his seasons just being completely decimated due to injury. After he started off really strong, he's going to be 30 in August. Um, I just feel like, what are the odds you're getting close to a $25 million safety in his age 32, 33 season? I don't know. You know how I feel about over investing in defensive back. I mean, I'm also just not really a believer in the Chargers as an outfit in general. So
Sure,
I think it's great for him. It's a great story for him to go from a player who arguably his career was on the rocks due to injury to being the highest paid. Like, I love that for him. That's amazing. I don't believe in this move for the Chargers, unlike the signing of David Njoku, the tight end formerly of the Browns, to a 1-year, $8 million deal. I think you're going to get bang for your buck in this tight end market for a guy who has a lot of receiving chops and has been really consistent for much of his career. Um, and you wonder if we aren't in, a Travis Kelce world. Not that Njoku's ever been the number one tight end in the league, I think, at any point, but you wonder if he would be closer to the top of the conversation if there weren't, those guys who are kind of dominating it. I just feel like he's always been really solid
or
for
if he wasn't
Cleveland.
in
And
Cleveland, Ohio.
wow, that does. And he didn't start in Cleveland. He started in
No, he did.
where did
He's
his
been in
career
Cleveland his
start?
whole career, I think.
I know he started somewhere else. I just couldn't tell you where.
What? News to me.
Feel like maybe I'm wrong. No, I'm stupid. Yeah, he's been in Cleveland the whole time.
Yep.
Uh,
I never doubt me. My
oh, you
ball
know
knowledge
what?
is impeccable.
University of Miami. That's what I was
Mm,
thinking.
that's where he
No,
started. That's right.
that's where he started. No, I don't know where I got that. That's crazy. Who am I thinking of?
I don't
Anyway,
know. I was like, I
I was
swear.
like so confident. Like I've honestly, every time I look at a Njoku, I go, man, what a good pickup for the Browns whenever they got him. Never.
The
Always been
draft.
around. The draft. No, I feel like he's always been really great for them. Good for the Chargers. I
Yeah.
think they'll be happy with whatever they get out of him for 1 year.
I'm of
Um,
uh I'm of two minds because
okay.
I think he's a good player. I think he's a good tight end. I agree that I think his talent has probably been underseen in Cleveland. I worry the Chargers had last year Keenan, who I don't know if he's back this year. Couldn't tell you. Don't remember. Lad McConkey, Quentin Johnson finally coming on. Trey Harris they took last year in the draft, who hasn't played much. And Gadsden, Haronde Gadsden the second, who started popping off in the second half of the season as their tight end. Um, a lot of mouths to feed is my point, and I don't. I hope it doesn't stunt whatever growth Gadsden was maybe going to have at the tight end position. Um, and I hope that Njoku is also happy with his role because I feel like part of the reason he maybe wanted to leave is because Harold Fandon really came on in Cleveland last year, and he was like, "I'm gonna go somewhere where I'm like definitely the number one." There's just a lot of guys in LA.
Yeah, that's fair. I think 13 personnel is the big thing right now. We've seen Mike McDaniel prioritize tight end when he swung that move to try to make Darren Waller back into something.
Yeah,
Um, and I think that Gadsden, yeah, it was solid last year. I don't know if he was poised to be, a top 10 guy, and I wonder if having a veteran in the room he can learn from in year two will poise him for maybe year three is that year he breaks out. But fair point that I think the Chargers bring in a lot of guys at the receiver in the receiving core, but they don't have like the guy in the receiving core. I think
for
that's still
sure.
something that.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree with that.
but depending on your feelings, it could be this is 5 million less per year than Steelers tight end Darnell Washington, who got a 4 year, $42 million extension. I definitely did that math wrong, including no, I didn't.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah, I
Yes.
did. Yeah, I did. Tough.
I
Um,
wasn't gonna say anything.
sorry, 4 years, 52 would have been
Right.
wait, yeah, 30, yeah, would have been 13. Sorry. He got somewhat less than Steelers tight end Washington. Signed a 4 year, $42 million extension with 21 million guaranteed. And to that I say, okay.
Yeah, I like Darnell Washington. He's like 6'8". He's huge and he's fun. Um, I just feel like he doesn't do a lot when like he's not utilized. What I mean, like he's not a bad player. Maybe he's like the best blocking tight end in the league because he's so huge. I have no idea. Could not evaluate how good a blocker tight ends are. Um, except like George Kittle's like the legendary blocking tight end. But um, I hope they use him more because they have him, they have Fryermuth, they had Connor Hayward, I think, at the tight end position last year. I know three tight ends on the roster. That's a bad sign. That means they're not utilizing them because I know three of them exist. So
Yeah.
uh, hopefully they use them more. Otherwise, this doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. Could look like a steal in 2 years if the tight end market continues to explode with those three tight end sets coming in vogue. But yeah, I don't have strong feelings. Steelers kicker Chris Boswell signed a 4 year, 28 million extension, tying him with Brandon Aubrey to be the highest paid kicker in the league. All I have to say is I think Brandon Aubrey should have a clause in his contract that whenever a kicker signs a bigger contract, he makes $1 million more than them. That's my opinion.
Chris Boswell's good, been good for a long time. This may be you know, pay what you have already done for us rather than what you will do for us kind of thing. But really what this contract tells me is, man, kickers do not make a lot of money. Darnell Washington's making $14 more million than you. That's crazy. Kicker is so valuable. So many games decided by kicks.
The Athletic Football Show, they did a great. Someone like wrote in a question and they were like, "Would you rather have a punter who could always like coffin corner, or a
Hmm.
kicker who could reliably make from 80 yards out?" and like what round would you take that player in? And they were debating whether you take that player in the first round. Doesn't matter if it's the kicker or the punter. Take that player in the first round. What are you talking about? If you can make kicks that are
80
80
yard
yards
field
long,
goal.
holy
You just
smokes, that's
never
so
punt.
like
So,
I would take the punter in the first round. If you could consistently say, like, I will always make my opponent go at
you're
least
dotting them
90
out on
yards
the
down the field
one.
before a touchdown.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It doesn't even like your offense can be middling or have a bad day, and it doesn't matter. You're punishing them on field position regardless. Ridiculous. They were like, I don't know if it's worth the first round. Like, what? Ugh.
You could take legendary '06 linebacker Eric Sims. I already forgot his name.
Ernie Sims. Yeah.
Ernie Sims.
Um, well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing is like, how many of these, how many first rounders in this most recent draft would I take it over? Like, I mean, besides quarterback, besides like a top tier quarterback, I would arguably rate a super weapon kicker as like just as valuable as any other position.
Right.
Anyway,
Right. Now you're good.
um, we're gonna get lost to the sauce. Um,
We often do.
why don't you take these running back contracts?
Got it. Jets running back Brees Hall signed a 3 years, $45 million deal after previously being franchise tagged by the Jets. And Dolphins running back Devon Achane signed 4 years, $68 million, including 32 mil guaranteed. Two interesting contracts here. I think I like Brees Hall. It made more sense that he was franchise tagged because I don't think the Jets will be good during his career. So I feel like just letting him go somewhere else while you're figuring out the rest of your team made more sense than paying him. But I not because he's a bad player, just he's a running back, and running backs don't have a long shelf life, and the Jets are never good. And I don't imagine they'll be good over the course of this contract. Devon Chan, electric speed, obviously highlight reel. A lot of people love him for that. I'd love when he does that too. Obviously, my concern is that he's like 5'8" and has been injured a couple times already. So will he stay durable? Who knows? Talent's there as long as he's on the field.
Yeah, I think the Jets in particular are a team that needs to play well to attract free agents. And so you've got a guy in the room who's good and you can get him to a contract. I kind of get like you need your homegrown guys because it's just hard to bring in talent if you're that tough. And the Dolphins don't have that problem as much, but I understand the logic that if you have a borderline top 10 player at any position in the league, you probably want to think real long and hard before you let him go. I think that's what the
Yeah.
Dolphins and Jets are up against. There's not a top 10 player in the league anymore, Damon. Who's
Um,
probably not a top 100 player at his position anymore, Damon?
is that Odell Beckham Jr.?
It is. It's current New York Giant Odell Beckham signed alongside Braxton Berrios and Juju Smith-Schuster. People were treating this like news.
What an amalgamation of names here.
Oh, when you're getting the like exclamation point, the Giants have signed Odell Beckham, and it's like day one of free agency and like real things are happening. I get it. He had some great seasons. I respect
Yeah.
him for that. I'm sad that injuries derailed his career. I cannot worship the ground that Odell Beckham walks on.
No.
He has not been an impact player for 5 years. I'm sure for Giants fans, it's a really cool coming home moment. That's great.
That's
I
really
don't
all
need
it
to
is. That's where it should end.
when I watch him make some like one-handed catch in the third preseason game and the NFL account tweets it 6 times in a row, another angle and it's the star eye emoji and then it's got like the LAR at NYG, blah, blah, blah. I'm good. I'm good. I'm sorry. I just felt this about Odell Beckham. I feel like he's been doing this to us since like
So
2021.
it's the
Like
name
it's just
value.
been
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, maybe his star just fell because he got traded to the Browns of all teams, but I don't know,
Unfortunate.
man. I think Odell Beckham was a real like flash over substance type of receiver, and that's fine. Like you can like that type of player, but I just like meat and potatoes players more. So I'm not like, yeah, Odell Beckham. I like the guys who can get a little rough with it.
And then they have former TikTok star Juju Smith-Schuster, who had like a season and a half of really good football for Pittsburgh, and then kind of on and off with injury. And then Braxton Berrios, Jets legend, I guess. So they just got three old guys that they're going to rotate behind Malik Neighbors, and Darius Slayton, I think, is still there. Um, so I guess it's good that they have more than one person to throw the ball to, because last year it was just Wandale when Malik Neighbors went out, and they don't have Wandale anymore. But yeah, it's names over actual talent for sure.
Yeah, is Jalen Hyatt still there? I think he's still there.
Yeah, he's about as talented as current Odell Beckham Jr., I think. So,
Yeah. It's worth
and I
mentioning
think and
also
I think he was
Neighbors.
wearing his number. I think he was wearing number 13 too. Tough.
Yeah, I imagine Odell will be taking that back for as long as he's with the team. But with Malik Neighbors, like there's concerns about him being able to play. So
Yeah.
um, that'll be interesting. Here's a much better wide receiver. Falcons wide receiver Drake London, 4-year, $141 million extension. My math is failing me today, but I believe that's 35.25 mil a year. Um, yeah, it feels about right. It's a lot for Drake London, but I think a lot of people view him as a top 10 guy. I don't really know his game well enough to say.
Yeah, he's a big guy, which helps. People love big wide receivers, big targets, red zone targets, that kind of thing. He's had a couple of really good years. I think some of it has been marred by the Falcons being the Falcons and not being very good or having really ever like a substantive good quarterback throwing him the ball on a consistent basis. So that makes sense. I think I take away from this contract, boy, oh boy, don't let your child be a running back. Let them be a receiver because the payday will look a little bit different if they're not a quarterback, which is obviously insane as well.
Yeah, that's why you're not getting a lot of 6'5" running backs.
Right.
It's not where the money's at. Um, Although we could see the running back. It's looking better for running backs than it has in years past. All right, you got a question for me on this next one, so
Yeah.
I'll hand over the baton.
So, aside from Drake London, the Falcons also signed Kyle Pitts, 3 years, $54 million extension, 18 mil a year for those of you struggling with math. Um, but that makes him the third highest paid tight end in the league on a per year basis. So, my question for Jared, who are tight ends number one, four, five, and two? I don't know why I did it in that order. That was insane.
Wow,
Um, one, two, four, and five, because Kyle Pitts is smack dab in the middle at 18 mil a year.
I've been thinking about this one. Is number
Yeah.
one Trey McBride?
Number two is Trey McBride at 19 mil, I think. A little over 19 mil.
19 mil. It's
Trey
really a matter
McBride's
of like I don't
good.
think
That
Brock has
guy,
been extended yet. It would be Brock Bowers. Um,
yeah.
did Kelsey get a ridiculously overinflated 1-year deal?
Kelsey is not on the list. Yeah, I think his
I'm
1 year
okay.
deal was
That
like,
that feels right to me.
I think it was like 12 mil or something like that. Yeah, he falls short of this list.
That's what I thought. I thought it was lower than that. What about Kittle? Is Kittle top five?
George Kittle is number one, at like 20 mil a year, something like that. Yeah.
Okay,
George
so four
Kittle,
and five are
that guy
left.
can block, and he can also catch.
I mean, talk about like when we talk about the Niners over the last decade, there's some defensive guys, but I think George Kittle's like
That's a
unquestioned
man. Made
face of
National
it.
Tight End Day, so makes
Yep.
sense for him to be number one. Just want him
Tight
to
end
stay healthy, of
University
course.
might tight end you might be on the move, but traditionally hosted on Vanderbilt's campus. Just for the curious. Um,
Oh, let's go. Hmm.
little bit of ball knowledge for you. Is number 4 or 5? I feel like this is the name that's going to be sneaky. Is T.J. Hawkinson in the top 5?
Hawk and Sox does not make the list. Does not
Oh,
make the list.
okay. Less than 12. Interesting. Um,
Yeah,
has
I'll
Tucker
look it up.
Kraft been extended?
Not Tucker Krantz.
This is tough.
Let me look up the number. Oh, he took a in March 2026. Hawkinson took a 5 million pay cut and
That makes sense.
voided the final year of his deal. Otherwise, he would be on this list.
Okay, I need two more guys. I'm just trying to go through.
We're looking at about third because basically in terms of the deal, it's average per year. It's like a per year basis. Um,
Yeah.
so we're looking at about 13 mil for number five, and like a little over 13 mil for four as well.
Um,
I'll tell you, one of these
okay.
is very new.
Very new contract.
Hmm.
Oh, is it I was like, who are we just looking at? But I realized that wasn't 13 million, so it can't be
Not on this list new, but in this offseason new.
oh, it's like a new contract.
Yeah. Player signed with a new team.
Or signed with a new who changed teams that would be
And
well I
I would
guess
I would not say they're
is
the
it the one
fourth best
below
tight
here,
end in the league.
Brenton Strange, which says he signed a
No.
3 year $48 million extension?
No. That wasn't that. I guess he probably is here now, but I made this before he was signed because he was signed really
Okay, great.
recently. So he's probably up here
Jeez,
now.
golly, can you give me a
Because that,
division?
what would that be? That would be, oh, I guess he would be number
Number
four now.
number four, yeah.
Uh,
I
uh.
need a division.
Division of the new team this player signed for is the NFC East.
Let's see, East. Um, boy,
Team he left was in the AFC North.
he left us in the AFC North. Wow, this is Isaiah Likely to the Giants.
Isaiah Likely was the fourth highest paid tight end in the league before Brendan Strange signed this contract. That
So there's a
seems
fifth.
wrong.
It's a little high for a guy who's still splitting with Marky Mark. And then number five, where do they play, or
In
what
the
division?
AFC North.
AFC North, number five. Well, it's not the Browns because they have Fannin. I couldn't name a Bengals tight end to save my life. Is it Mark Andrews?
It's Mark Andrews. You said
That's
Marky Mark, and I was like, huh? Yeah.
tough, tough, tough,
He is
tough.
number five. So I guess he's off the list now. Now Brenton Strange kicks him out, and Brenton Strange is number four, and likely is number five, which is still wild. So yeah, Kittle, McBride, okay. Kyle
Yep.
Pitts, likely. Mark Andrews. You've lost me. You've lost me after the first two.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not sure Kyle Pitts is worth this much, and I like Kyle Pitts. Maybe if they utilize him more.
I think a lot of the up and coming tight ends in the league have been surprisingly young, and so when Kraft, depending on the injury, right? Kraft, Laporta, Bowers, and then we'll get that next wave of Holston Loveland and
Tyler
Tyler,
Warren.
what's his name for the
Yeah.
Colts. I imagine that's where we're really going to see the market start to push potentially. Um, yeah, a few names that I think are ripe for the picking. Um, all right, let's burn through these last three, and then I have a setup for our final thing.
Yeah. Brenton Strange, 3 years, 48 mil, 25 mil guaranteed. He had a fine
Yep.
season.
Now the number four. Yeah, it's a lot of money for Brenton. A lot of money for Brenton Strange.
Yeah.
Okay, Packers wide receivers Jaden Reed and Christian Watson both signed extensions with the team. Jaden Reed got 3 years, 50.25 million with 20 million guaranteed. Christian Watson got 4 years, 92 million with escalators up to 110.5 million, 31 million guaranteed. So 3 years, 50, 4 years, 92, roughly speaking. Thoughts on these contracts?
Um, I think I'm a Christian Watson hater. I just never
Uh,
got it. I was never there. He's always injured. He makes okay plays. I don't get it.
Despite the fact that he does a one piece celly, which I gotta respect, I agree. He's definitely burned the Lions once or twice, I feel like, but I'm a believer that there is no one in the Packers wide receiver core that's like a make me shudder type of player. So please give a ton of money to players that I'm not particularly afraid of. Even if they're very good, there's no one who's like a game breaker. I think that's honestly the piece they're missing if they want to be true contenders, in my opinion. Is like a pass catcher who's like, oh man, this guy's like tough to deal with. And maybe Tucker Kraft is that guy at the tight end spot.
Who's like Devontae
Um,
Adams?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like they're just missing that
I like
next
Jaden
gear
Reed
guy
though.
who can.
Good contract for Jaden
Um,
Reed. I like him.
sure, I don't have opinions on him. I only see red when I look at the Packers. So.
Speaking of
Speak.
former Packer,
Mhm.
yeah. Aaron Rodgers, 1 year, 25 mil with the Steelers. It'll be his last season in the NFL. Don't foresee the Steelers being good, so cool.
Yep.
See ya.
You know, if they don't, if yeah, exactly. If they don't make the playoffs, I like Aaron Rodgers will make the Hall of Fame. I do think from a team success perspective, he has some holes in his resume. I think he's ultimately just got too much of a legacy as a great quarterback to overthrow that. But I don't know. I feel like each season that he fails to be the final piece for a team, it's just I don't know. I think it at this point, if he's really thinking legacy, I maybe wouldn't have come back. But
It's following
a
the Brett
player
Favre
who,
footsteps of his. Let me just go to these random teams at the end of my
yeah,
career.
I guess I guess that hasn't hurt Favre's perception. A player who's seemingly just having a more and more successful career the later it goes. Matthew Stafford has agreed to 1 year, $55 million extension, meaning he will play this year and next year, presumably as the starter with the Rams, giving quite the long runway to wait for Ty Simpson.
And then where will he go? I don't know. Making weird commercials with his wife, probably. Um,
Yeah, I will say, obviously, former Lion, I really like his personality. Kelly, I'm not like crazy about, but I wish him all the best. Now we have one more item, and I'm reminded, Damon, a few weeks ago we went to a disc golf course called Circle C, and we
Circle
were
C.
burning
It's
and we were
tough.
dying in the heat. You
Yeah.
were getting better. You were pulling a Stafford. I was getting worse. I was pulling a Rogers. And we got to the
Mm.
last hole and we thought we were free. And then it was the first par five we had ever seen. It was 700 feet. It was multiple left turns. And so, in many ways, news wise, we saved our par five for last. Damon, why don't you
uh,
take the honors?
well, I suppose I will. The other big Rams news item, of course, that we are a month and a half late to, is Edge Myles Garrett being traded from the Browns to the Rams for their young edge, Jared Verse, former Defensive Rookie of the Year, and a 2027 first round pick, 2028 second round pick, 2029 third round pick. That becomes a first if Garrett, gets traded back to a team in the AFC North. So a big all-in blockbuster move from a Rams team that was in the NFC Championship against the Seahawks. Very competitive game. They had a competitive series throughout the season being in the same division, and they said, we got an old quarterback. We got a relatively old team, aside from a couple studs like Puka, um, unethical Puka. So let's go all in and trade for Chloe Kim's boyfriend. And so they did. And he just won Defensive Player of the Year. I think it's I saw a thing. I'm gonna look it up. It's like the first time in a long time that reigning MVP and DPOI has been on the same team. Maybe the first time ever. I'm not sure. I'm gonna see that.
While you do that,
Uh
here's a quick question
yes.
for you.
Yes.
First time.
Huh? No, no, no. What's your question?
Oh, the Cleveland Browns owner is also part owner of an NBA franchise. Do you know which one?
The Cleveland Browns owner is a part owner of an NBA franchise. Which franchise? I mean, the logical answer would be the Cleveland Cavaliers, but somehow it's going to be like the LA Lakers. I have no idea. No, I don't know.
It's the Milwaukee Bucks. Which
Mm,
I saw some people kind of talking about how funny it was that like, oh, their Jimmy Haslam might end up involved with um,
the two
you know,
big trades I see.
two big trades. And his brother, I believe, if not him himself, governor of Tennessee for a time.
Oh,
Full circle.
interesting.
Yeah, I think they're the
Um,
FedEx fortune or maybe attached to that. I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter.
1994, Deion Sanders won DPOY. Steve Young won MVP. They were on the same team
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay.
for the
Um,
Niners. So
minus.
I think this is the only time since then. So pretty crazy. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Um, I think it comes down to the question of like, how do you put a price on singular talent? Because I think from a purely like football perspective, I think the Rams paid a premium in the sense that Jared Verse is probably a top 15 to 20 edge rusher, and they traded for the number one edge rusher, and they traded up in age. And Jared Verse, I think, could be a building block for these Browns, and getting another first out of that as well, even if you think it'll be 32. Like, okay, that's a lot. And then you add the second and you add a third. And I wonder if that's their way of saying, like, how do you put a price on not just being the best player at your position, but being transcendently so? Um,
Hmm.
is you just kind of add that sweetener. I think if you're the Browns, this trade is an absolute win. Um, Especially if you extend Verse, I think this looks awesome because Myles Garrett, beloved player for sure, but you got younger, you got real talent, and you have an opportunity to continue adding to the war chest. And it just comes down to that whether you believe that one singular talent is equal to or greater than, you know, three, let's say maybe the second round pick is solid and the first round pick is good in Jared Verse. Three, 2 to 3 very significant talents on your team. Because I think Jared Verse on his own is worth a first at minimum. And I think the Rams would demand more than first round. So
Yeah. Um, it's interesting. I'm of two minds. In one way, I'm going to make some NBA parallels here for you. This can be when the Lakers traded for Anthony Davis, and they
mm,
traded Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, some other maybe young players I'm forgetting, a bunch of picks, and they just got Anthony Davis, proven guy. And then they
mm,
immediately won a title. And it was like, boom, worth. Doesn't matter anymore. It's worth. And I kind of had the same mindset here. If the Rams win the Super Bowl, you win. You win the trade automatically. Doesn't matter what else happens because you won a Super Bowl. That's the whole goal. And then I think of the other LA team, the Clippers. When they traded Shea Gilgeous-Alexander after his rookie year, back-to-back MVP, by the way, a bazillion first-round picks, and a bazillion first-round swaps for Paul George, who is no longer on the team and is injured frequently and in the elder half of his career. And that trade looks really bad for the Clippers because they gave up a really good young player who at the time Shea was, I would say, Jared Verse currently is better than Shea was currently in their respective careers. Um, so it could go, I think, basically one of those two ways. Either you win the Super Bowl and it's great, or you don't win the Super Bowl. Jared Verse stays as a relatively top 10 edge rusher. Myles Garrett retires in 5 years, and it looks unfortunate. Um, but I don't hate the idea. I don't hate going all in. I don't hate, this is we're one piece away. Yeah, that's quite the one piece that you acquired. Broke the sack record, like you said, extends that kind of talent. Because Jared Verse, like you said, top 15 edge rusher. How high will he climb on that list? I don't know. Does he end up capping at 10, at 5, even at 1? Even if somehow Jared Verse was to become the number one edge rusher, which I don't foresee happening, I don't know if it would be to the level that Myles Garrett is at because he's like so talented. So yeah, it's a lot to pay, but it's a player that makes sense to pay this much for.
yeah, I think that's something that, even beyond, because looking at your two comparisons, I think they're a great model. I think NBA players take a little bit longer to age into their prime than NFL players. I think Verse is much closer, probably to his peak. We're being realistic.
Yeah,
Um, and I think also like Anthony Davis and Paul George were probably top 10 NBA players at that time. But
Paul
it
George
wasn't like
finished
they were
third in MVP voting that year they
that
traded for
that
him.
year. Okay. So let's say Paul George was a top, Jalen Brown, I believe, was in the top of the MVP voting this year or
He
near the
was
top,
sixth.
and
Yeah,
he was sixth. And he just got traded for Paul George.
for Paul
Um,
George. Yeah, tough.
Full circle. Um, and that's not looking great. It turns out acquiring Paul George is just never a good look. Um,
Fair.
but either way, let's say even if Paul George was a top five guy, because I still think you're in an
Sure.
era with Steph,
For
Durant,
sure. It was
LeBron.
like a 1 year wonder kind of like he was an all-star, but he had like a transcendent year. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say he was a top five guy when you acquired him. Myles Garrett is a top 1 to 3 player in the NFL, in a way that has been consistent and borne out over years on a bad team. Rich Eisen keeps making the point that he's like, man, the Browns never played with leads. The Rams will have leads, and he's still getting those sacks, right? So, um, I think based on that comparison, it looks great. I think the championship will be the proof. I think if Myles Garrett plays like the number one edge rusher for the next 2 to 3 years and then falls back to being a top five edge rusher as he ages, I think it's still hard to say that from a player perspective, if Jared versus, never more than the number 10 guy, that you really lost in terms of overall value, unless that first round pick becomes someone phenomenal, right? Now, if this turns into Ty Simpson being not a very good quarterback, your window closes in 2 years, Garrett is suddenly on a team that doesn't have a chance to compete, and you can't flip him, maybe that doesn't look too good either. So definitely a move that relies on the rest of your moves working out. But it's exciting. It's flashy. It'll be a great storyline all year. I feel better about this than the Micah Parsons trade for the Packers. That's for sure.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, I would definitely say this is a win-win. I think both teams are walking away with exactly what they wanted. This is what people are. I was gonna say this is what people are talking about when they're saying getting that blue chip prospect. I would say Jared Verse is actually past that. He won Defensive Rookie of the Year and is like already really good. He's like more than a blue chip prospect. He's like a guy already. So, um, yeah, I'm it was exciting when it happened 7 months ago. So I'm glad we're here to talk about it today.
Yeah, I think the true win-win is for us and for our beloved fans. We got to come back and pod again. They got to listen again. We're definitely planning on being more regular. I think we're going to figure out a cadence that makes sense for us in the off season. We've got some fun little sort of games and shticks. Maybe a little more trivia as the season ramps up, and then
The games are
um,
fun. They're fun.
the games are fun. Yeah, and I think even as the season goes on, I would hope that we keep that part of the flavor because there is a lot of news, but at the same time, we expect that we're probably not the only NFL podcast you listen to, um, unless you're my girlfriend, in which case, hello, Addie. All that to say, Damon, any last words? Are you ready to sign off?
No, thanks to everybody sticking out. It's gonna be a long episode with all the stuff, but it feels good to be caught up. Happy to not worry about, oh my God, all the stuff I haven't talked about. Now I've talked about it. I can delete all the screenshots off my phone. So that feels good. I'm happy to be here with you, Jared. Thank you for being patient with me during the last 2 months. And like you said, we'll be more regular, so it'll be good.
Yeah, I'll make field goal. Give me the gates here. If I made you do field goal,
Are
I'll
are
do
we
field goal.
are we field goaling? I feel like last time you were like it's the off season, so I'm not doing it. But I don't remember it
Well,
because it
listen,
was so long
training camp's
ago.
coming up. Last time I
Mm.
did it, I don't even remember. Um, you know, I couldn't tell you where I was, where I lived. Kick's going up.
Oh, Jared's giving the thumbs up, so that must mean that it was good.